Kilda has one. North Melbourne doesn't. It's the first of the real 8-point games. Twilight footy. Live, exclusive and in HD on Fox Footy.
Sensational!
Yeah, they're all big games of football, but once you hit the new financial year on the 1st of July, you're in the run home to September, and the whips are cracking. Last week, the Kangaroos put their hand up and said, finally, we are showing that we are a team that is legitimate September action candidates, but they need to do it a few more times, and today's the big day, Gerard Healy, for them to knock over St Kilda and show that they're a legitimate team to play in September this year.
I agree with you, Ed. 32-point victors against Adelaide last week, but they got Adelaide when they were a little bit down. They were due for a loss. But you can't take anything away from the Kangaroos. They were magnificent. They won the hard ball and they rebounded it so well from defence. They're an exciting combination.
And what was great last week was the way they really opened up, and I know Scott Watters is very determined to make sure that they're ready to go. Lee Adams is a player who's really shown a bit last week. Front and centre goal down at the forward pocket was fantastic. He pushes up, which is being able to release Wells. So he's a very important player, not only for getting his own ball, but also opening up for Wells. And that is another thing that the St Kilda forwards and defence have to be right on top of.
Had a great start to the season, first 3 to 4 games. Then had a bit of a flat spot, and last week they got a full deck of poker cards. They had him and Thomas, and not surprisingly, the Saints out with the accompanying multicultural band.
Yeah, it is, and they're a multicultural, flamboyant side, and so too their supporters. Expect the unexpected was their motto a few years ago. Well, the Saints under Scott Watters just want to make it pretty hard football today. Interesting enough, Scott Watters has picked out Lindsay Thomas as a key player that he's going to put Jason Graham on. He's going to put Graham on. He's told Jason Graham, don't care if you don't get a touch, make sure Lindsay Thomas doesn't. So the forward pressure is going to be enormous from St Kilda, and that man Nick Revolt, we showed you a little bit earlier, has taken the Kangaroos to the cleaners on the last 6 occasions, averaging 5 goals from full forward, centre half forward. And even though he's got a bit of a calf and the degenerative knee, he still is the man to beat.
I think so. His combination with Cozzy right now is superb, and they've added a couple of quick, small forwards, which I think is going to make them a hell of a lot of a more difficult combination. But they need some run on the outside. Lee Montagna often gets off the hook. His 29 disposals in round 12 against Adelaide was one of his best for the season. Hasn't been at his absolute best right throughout the year, but he is starting to find a good patch of form through this middle part of the year.
All right, let's have a look at the St Kilda side, and Sipos and Jones, Jones being the big one there, the tagger. So Brent Harvey already feeling he's broken the tag before he's even run out in the ground. But Sipos and Jones, and also Wilkes out of the selected side, and the interchange will be Montagna, Armitage and Stanley, with Reward obviously the captain of the side coming in, and Malira will be the substitute.
Well, their big issue is their defence. They've been bullied by the tall forwards in the opposition. They've conceded 17 goals or more in each of their recent losses, so they're going to need Blake and Fisher to really fire up. They're going to look for another tagger. Dempster, I think, would probably be the man. And the Kangaroos, well, they've also made 2 changes. Campbell comes in with some more pace. Cunnington goes out, and Delaney is that late change for Thompson. They've had 2 good wins in successive weeks against the Gold Coast, but Adelaide, as you pointed out, Ed, absolutely superb. But right here and now, they need to win the ball on the inside and on the out. And if Wells is in their best 2 or 3 players along with Harvey, they're probably going to win the match.
Yeah, Thompson was out yesterday with a back injury. The AFL alerted by the Kangaroos, so that's why there's been no fine or anything for Delaney coming in as the late replacement for Thompson. As I said, out with a back injury. Let's go down to the boundary side now. David King's down there with Jason Dunstall.
Thanks, Eddie. We're going to concentrate on a few of the things that both these teams need to focus on today to get the job done. From a North Melbourne perspective, Kingy, I reckon contested possession, very simple. They've won the contested possession 6 times, they've won 6 games. They've lost it 6 times, they've lost 6. Very simple gauge for them is contested possessions. Inside 50s, they're the 3rd best conversion per inside 50 in the competition. So don't overuse the footy, give your forwards a chance. And Nick Revolt, we know that he's dominated North time and time again. Nathan Grimer gets the job, but he needs help from his teammates. Blokes like Michael Friedel need to drop off their opponent and be 3rd man up to give him a chop out.
Pretty simple for the Saints from mine, Jace. It's more what they do without the ball. I think forced turnovers. The Kangaroos want to run and carry the ball out of their defensive 50. You see Malira and Saad in that team today. I think they'll hunt them down and force the Kangaroos into turnovers. That's the number 1 key for me. Second up is just get the Kangaroos to play a slow and uncontested mark lateral game. Force them wide, gridlock them, hold them in their forward half, and then again revert back to forcing the turnovers. And third man assist. I think with Petrie down there, Tarrant in really good form last week, and Hansen down there as tools, I think they're vulnerable down there at the moment, the Saints, with their key post back. So get the ball in quickly, get it in high, and give Petrie a chance.
So it's about to be on here at Etihad Stadium, St Kilda and North Melbourne. Don't miss Anthony Hudson and Eddie Maguire calling all the action from the first bounce right after the break.
It's been a big build-up, and in multicultural round, Ahmed Saad and Michael Ferrito with the honours for this huge game between North Melbourne and St Kilda. The toss of the coin has been won by the Saints, and they will be kicking left of screen.
And Ahmed Saad, a very interesting young player. His father actually was an elite Egyptian soccer player, played in the Egyptian national side, believe it or not. And he's got that nippiness about him. His testing, believe it or not, puts him in the top 3 or 4 for speed. 2.75 seconds over 20 metres. Unbelievable.
Well, a man who was almost as quick as David King, and he's maybe not quite as swift as he once was, but he's still in pretty good nick. How are you, Kingy?
Thanks, Hutto. Thanks. I'm not sure whether that was a wrap or
Neither
not.
am I.
No, look, expect a fast start here. I think both sides are going to come out and put it on the line instantly. Just so the viewers at home know, the black armbands are for Maury Brophy, who passed through the week, unfortunately, and our best goes out to the family, a former board member of the Kangaroos and vice chairman.
A great man, Maury Brophy. So our commiserations to all the Brophy family and all the extended North Melbourne family. A wonderful man who was there right through the glory days and put so much into the Kangaroos Football Club.
Would have seen Brent Harvey play many of those 335 games. He's starting on the bench, but he's pretty happy because, as we said already, Clint Jones, a late exclusion from the St Kilda lineup. He's in the stands. You can't harm him or tag him from there. Final selection, Gerard.
I like the Saints coming off the break. I think they've had a very difficult month. I think Lenny Hayes will come up pretty well, and it's going to be interesting. I think they can't tag everybody. I think Lenny Hayes will go head-to-head with Swallow, and I'd be surprised if Wells, and when Harvey comes on, they don't get a shadow.
So Gwilt on Tarrant down there. We're set to go from Etihad Stadium. North Melbourne and St Kilda. Goldstein back in the last 5 or 6 weeks in that #1 ruck role and seems to be relishing it. And straight away they're on top of it. Umpires just trying to gain early control. There's already a little bit of niggle as Gilbert tries to, looks like he's trying to get onto Wells from this stoppage. Goldstein farmed it away. Adams, hot last week, as was this man. Thomas, waiting, the lead comes now from Petrie. And in fact, it's not Petrie, it's Hansen.
Yep.
And he's got it on the second bite.
Absolutely magnificent start. Thomas just grabbing that ball and then turning around and spearing one into Lockie Hansen. It took 3 grabs, but it doesn't matter as long as you complete the mark and stick this one through.
Well, interesting there, Gerard, that one of the main things that they've been watching for St Kilda is Adams pushing up for those contested ball ups. He got it through, and then Thomas, the danger man, set it up.
Kicked 1 goal 2 last week. And what a boost this would be for him early. They've been tortured against the Saints in the past, but got a smile on his face now.
Great start to the Kangaroos, and Jason, one of the biggest problems that the Saints have had all season has been deep in defence, and well, it's just the start they wouldn't have wanted their key defenders, but a great exit. Thomas, magnificent, turns around and just love this spearing ball.
Yeah, I reckon there are some North Melbourne forwards right now that would like the matchups they've got. Petrie's got Blake, he'll back himself in. Raf Clark has to play tall on someone like Lockie Hansen, and you've got Gwilt that's had to go to Robbie Tarrant. So if they can keep them separated, isolate them into one-on-one contests, they've got every confidence so they can kick a winning score, the Kangaroos.
So a minute in, the Kangas off to the perfect start. 1 goal straight, St Kilda yet to get a possession. Up they go again. Goldstein got it down. Zeeble was in hard at it as well. Stephen for St Kilda. Another ball up.
Just watched Gilbert's starting position is off that half-forward flank. He was matched up against Ferrito, but he is clearly pushing into the middle, and looks like he is going to be set for a tag on Wells.
Saints have won their last 4 games against the Kangaroos by an average of just under 10 goals. Here we go. Fisher, who has welcomed the run a couple of weeks back, just getting himself into some prime fitness again. The Saints through Stephen. Up towards centre wing. Ferrito, good play, and away they go. The Kangaroos to Wells, the danger man, finds some space, goes to the forward pocket. Look at this, they can stroll an open goal. Petrie says thank you very much, and bangs through the second for the Kangas.
Raf Clark is down too.
He is. He's left on his haunches after a collision there in the attacking 50 for the Kangaroos. What we did say about North Melbourne is they are very good at converting once they get it inside 50. So when you've got these sort of contests happening, get the ball in there. Look at this sidestep from Daniel Wells around Brendan Goddard. That is a ripper, and he had 2 players to choose from. You can see just in the right of screen, Raf Clark running into a little bit of traffic and going to ground. Just keep your eye on Raf Clark there, just top right. He just runs into a North Melbourne opponent without looking. Nothing in that, but a great snap from Petrie, and they're up and running, North.
Well, St Kilda home game, but the North fans making plenty of early noise.
McAvoy's got to make a presence in the middle at the moment. Goldstein has just got up and dominated the first 2.
He's up again, but McAvoy got the timing right and the follow-up. Armitage tries desperately to carry the footy with him. Del Santo improvised, but Adams was able to work the ruse out into the wing. Tarrant versus Dempster. Harper's there. He's the running mate for Tarrant, and she's over.
Well, the great thing, you know, coming to Etihad Stadium is it's a fast track, and we're off to a very fast start here. And let's have another look at Clark going down.
Well, it's actually Blake that pushed Hansen into him.
So from the wing,
Adams has got off to a fast start, as you said, Ed. He is one dangerous player for the Kangaroos. He fires, they fire.
Sam Fisher's his opponent, so it's going to be interesting. He's going to push up a lot in the midfield. That'll allow Fisher to drop off.
opening 2 goals to the Kangaroos. And yet they've still laid more tackles than the opposition, only early stages. So the Saints really need to get a feel for the footy here if they can. Gilbert, but the pressure increases. Anthony found a small path out.
And as we speak, Hutto, Lee Adams is up at this stoppage. Sam Fisher drops off, so he goes back onto Hansen, and that allows then Raf Clark to be the loose player.
You said the Saints wanted to get a feel for the footy. You're spot on. Only 6 players touched the leather.
Dempster going to Harvey now. Anthony almost got one in the back. We'll have another bounce. So fascinating here, the setups. Jared and Jason, take us through the major matchups you've picked up so far.
Well, in the key positions, we mentioned at one end we've got Grimer on Revolt. You've also got Delaney on Kazitsky at the other end. It's Petrie being looked after by Blake, and also Clark on Hansen and Gwilt on Tarrant.
Atley on Milne, I reckon, is a really interesting one.
Yep.
Goddard bombs it forward. They mucked it up, the North Melbourne defence, but they've got the numbers there. Delaney on hands and knees, gets the handball out. Good play from Grimer. Now they're a chance to get it away, the Kangaroos. Good play indeed there by McMillan. Now they start to run off half back. Can they keep it going there? Good play from Goldstein. He gets the handball going over the top. Again, McMillan gets the ball forward, and Adams is great on centre wing. Handball over the top from Bastanak, and it's wide open now again. Up they go towards Petrie. Punched away. Lindsay Thomas is the danger man. Hard at it they go. Free kick. Well done, St Kilda.
How good was James Gwilt cutting off the lead of Drew Petrie? Terrific effort.
Dempster was magnificent. Took the ball, took the hit, and gets up. And that was sensational, but he is a bit sick and sorry. Let's keep an eye on him for the next few moments.
Snyder up to take it, thought about Hayes. Now he goes long a bit wide, hoping Stanley can mark it. He needed to, and he kept on going. Was that a wise decision? Maybe, maybe not. Watenda can make it look pretty good, and he does just that. Shapes the first St Kilda goal.
Great recovery work there by Lee Montagna. We've seen it twice now. Players just full of adrenaline playing on when they probably should have gone back and had a shot at goal. Once there from Stanley, and the other end of the ground, Drew Petrie, I think, probably should have gone back and just had a set shot. He got away with it, more experienced player. But that was a courageous mark. Average handball, to say the least. And good work by Lee Montagna, who's got off to a fly.
And it all started, didn't it, with Dempster's act of courage.
Just had a little bit too much pace for Jack Zeeble, Lee Montagna. Once he got the ball out in front, he could comfortably set himself without getting run down from behind.
So back in the middle. Saints get a much-needed answering goal. Fisher. Stanley showing his dexterity. And they're away again. Armitage deep for Kazitsky. Not in the best position. Delaney, Grimer. A couple of very intriguing matchups there, and could be very telling ones. Revolt, not only the Saints' leading goal kicker once again, but with 33 goals, but also leads their score assists. So, as Scott Waters said pre-match, he's very much about team these days, not just himself.
Goldstein hits it down. Oh, fantastic courage shown there by Armitage. Dives in on top of the ball. Might be in trouble, though, for it. No umpire uses discretion. We'll have a ball up on the forward 50.
And the Saints have pushed Cozzy right down into the square at this stoppage. He's up against Delaney and he's got centimetres on him. They're going to look to long bomb to do Cozzy and try and expose that.
Goldstein did it beautifully. Snap forward, here it is, that matchup. Punched away from Kazitsky. Delaney did well to the boundary line. Hayes tracking it close. Good hands almost there from Montaigne. Nice intercept from Harvey. Great play all round. Sharp hands from all players. They're both here to play, there's no doubt about it. And Swallow with tremendous courage. The oncoming train was coming and he jumped and took the mark, covered himself up with a little bit of a corky. He'll run that out, but as a captain, that is one you want to see.
He would have been in bed last night thinking about trying to take a scalp of Lenny Hayes. He would like to, I guess, focus his whole career on a Lenny Hayes type way that he plays the game, and he's got every opportunity tonight.
Goldstein did well, opened it up with a long handball, sets them up now as the kick goes forward, looking for the big man of Petrie. One hand, no, Tarrant was there. Tarrant couldn't quite get the second grab on it, and they're in all sorts of panic down there, the St Kilda team at the moment. The ball swings back. McMillan has a fresh area there, and the ball now run away by the Saints, and it's open for them.
And Armitage can take it off half back. He's told to move it. He obliges. Driving ball for Revolt. Couldn't quite gather. And it's all North Melbourne. Ferrito first, then Bastanak. McMahon, who's been a steady influence since returning in the last couple of weeks. They decide to put the foot down and go. It was a good decision. Anthony Goldstein can give it to some of the smaller types going past. None better than Harvey. Umpire giving them a lot of opportunity to be tackled and still get rid of the football. And it spills for Swallow. The captain wasn't quite able to shake off that knock well enough to kick it through for a major. And the first blemish of the day is North Melbourne's.
Well, they've got away here.
Yeah, there was a high tackle there.
Had to be one way or the other, didn't it? Surely.
So the Saints through Montaigne just chips it up to the wing. Kazitsky kept his feet. Delaney fell down. Fortuitously it bounced his way. Harvey to Anthony to Harvey. Just holding it up now. Goldstein playing the quarterback role. Decides to go backwards. Delaney flicks it forward. Anthony in all sorts now. He's gone. Got the handball out. Enough North Melbourne players, but overrunning the ball, there was Delaney. Great tackle applied by Atley, and he's in a world of trouble there. Kazitsky umpire bounces.
That's the overuse of the footy we're talking about. Hand passes from North Melbourne. Little chip kick at least gives you time to assess the situation, but too much handball, you just run into trouble.
Well, North have had 31 handballs and 16 kicks so far. Just to underline that point, Jason. As Wells tried to spirit it away, but couldn't. Gibson in his third game couldn't get his handle on it, but his teammate did. Zeeble, Petrie, standoff there with Blake, the first, but not the second. Well done, Blake. Dancing through Thomas, couldn't take it with him.
You can't ping him, sure.
And he has been pinged.
What opportunity did he have? As soon as he took the ball, he ran into traffic.
Interesting stoppages. It looks like Zeeble is going with Hayes around the ground, but Swallow's going with him at the stoppage.
Graham's turned it over. That's an absolute shocker. Anthony's got it on centre wing. Lindsay Thomas is the only bloke making the play there before. I know he might have tried to go backwards and dropped his head a bit, but that's not a hanging offence. Petrie comes out, meets the ball beautifully. As Wells flicks the ball forward. Fantastic play. Gibson. The kick was a shocker, and getting back to take the mark is Sam Fisher.
Yeah, they hurt you, those ones. They have got St Kilda nervous at this stage, and that was an opportunity to open up a nice lead.
Just need to get a bit of tempo here, the Saints, Jace.
7-4 inside 50s in favour of North, so they're playing the game at their end of the ground.
Saints on the counter here. Snyder holding things up, but Ahmed Saad has sneaked off the bench and gone into the 50 on his own. It was a long way away, but might have been a good idea to keep it moving. He was waiting till more reinforcements came from behind. And one of those is Nick Del Santo.
Yeah, the smart heads are just slowing things down a little bit now. They've been caught into North Melbourne's frenetic play. They need to just slow things down, St Kilda.
And Goldstein's got himself back in the defensive 50 for the long kick.
And hence the decision from Del Santo to take it all the way around, the long way home.
It's on here now.
Wilt pokes it into the middle. Sam Fisher, such a vital component of this St Kilda side. Clark. Just a little bit of uncertainty. Dangerous kick. Harvey just couldn't get around Dempster. Used his body to perfection there. He brings out both barrels, goes long for Revolt. He's got it, just too strong for Grimer.
Was that a free kick or was the umpire blindsided?
Well, I think he just decided that was a one-on-one strength battle, and he let the man that win it take the mark. We get a good replay of it, but that was a terrific battle. They just stood toe-to-toe and pushed and shoved at each other.
Great call,
see it
Chase.
here.
Yeah.
That's just a battle of strength. Pushes him out of the way, takes the mark.
Like to see that happen a bit more with the umpiring. Just let it go.
So Nick Revolt, 33 goals, 22 for the year. Splits the middle, and there's only a point in it now.
The disappointing thing from a North Melbourne perspective is that they've virtually dominated possession, dominated inside 50s, but they haven't been able to dominate on the scoreboard. They've got to make sure that they convert their opportunities. And St Kilda have gone forward a couple of times and kicked goals.
Rodney Eade is with us. He's our analyst on this game. Rodney, they just need to take a bit of the sting out of the game, St Kilda, get the tempo working. The wiser heads sort of took over and slowed things up a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Snyder did that. That was very apt, obviously. And I think if they can kick it long, that Revolt's going to have a bit of a picnic down. They can obviously be steady with their play. I think the other matchup too that's very interesting, that Wright is tagging Goddard on a wing. And North Melbourne have had 7 different players in the centre bounce, so they're rotating through there very heavily.
The Goldstein got the tap, Goddard got the push in the back and the free kick and the advantage. 3 for 1 as Geary comes off half-back, holds the ball up. Under pressure, Gilbert. Doing well, the Saints, so they're not panicking now. Big transfer of play to Armitage. Looks up, not much on, so they'll just chip it around a little bit, you'd think.
Boker's getting off the chain, though, is Daniel Wells being able to run by himself.
Armitage, good kick, good mark, McAvoy. That was a really smart one-on-one. McAvoy up against Zeeble, had the height advantage, and the kick was just perfect for him. Great play, smart play. McAvoy, just to show that it doesn't run, kicks into the man on the mark, but recovers beautifully. Long kick forward, they're up! Oh, that is a great mark taken there by Stanley.
He's outmarked a couple of his own teammates as well, including Nick Revolt. That's a strong mark. This is a young man that seems to be improving the more he plays. Just getting a little bit more confidence in his own capabilities. We know he's a great athlete, but when he starts taking contested marks like that, he'll just take his game to a whole new level.
Coming off a 5-week hamstring injury, stretched himself to the full 200 centimetres. He's 44% from set shots this season. He comes in from 20 metres out and does not help his percentages at all there.
Saints just got on top of the clearance situation. It's 5-0 the last 5 clearances, so the Saints on top where it matters in tight and tough.
And don't they look threatening up forward? Well, both sides really do with the key position players. So it's a matter of who can get it in there in the smartest fashion. Gibson, a couple of involvements for him. Got away from Harper.
They had the overlap too.
Good pressure though, he didn't give up. And they might win it back, Wells. And they've got all the numbers here. They should be able to work the system here. Petrie waited till the moment, and Thomas loves to kick them from there.
He stole it off Hansen.
Fair enough too. He's had enough torture in front of goal to last a lifetime.
Well, they had 3 or 4 loose numbers out the back, over the back of the Saints' last line of defence, and once they were good enough to get the ball there, it was just a matter of thinking their way through it, and Petrie did it well. Rather than have a set shot, he knew that he had ample numbers running with him. He just had to hand pass over the top, and it was a raffle for Thomas or Hansen.
Well, it came off the back of a double turnover. The Kangaroos gave it back to the Saints. They've just been a little bit sloppy with their hands as well under some pressure. Kangaroos got the ball straight back, and that time they got the goal.
Let's go down to David King. David, they're very sharp north their hands today.
They are. I think they've been really effective when they've been able to hit that 20-metre pass. Just that short one. We've only seen it 4 or 5 times, but that's the one that's getting through and hurting the Saints after that handball chain.
Ferrito running with the ball. Gilbert knocks it forward. Good play. Del Santo, Montagna, all the big names for St Kilda. Armitage has been good this quarter. Stephen over the top. Adams got it out for the Kangaroos, and away they go again. Harper decides to go long with the bomb up towards full forward, getting across. Great play there by the St Kilda defence. Now a chance for Grant, tracking it close to the boundary line. He wants the boundary line. Got it over, and the umpire says throw it in. Montagna coming off. Let's have a look at this. He just copped one. Wells made him earn it, as they used to say in the classics.
Didn't look to be that much in it.
Maybe a bit winded. As the ball comes forward, off the bench. Harper nearly cleaned up the
Can't play on
teammate.
after a mark.
No. So the mark has been taken by Stanley. Milne trying to pick his pocket. Stanley goes long. Kazitsky is the man. He has to fly against two. Good play over the top there by McMahon. Third man up was good. Ball stays in. Milne snaps around the body. Here we go. Kazitsky leads the race. Can give the little handball over to Sard. He's got electrifying pace. Sard!
Great tackle!
Great tackle for Rito. Well, if that was the stall gift, Sard would have 20 metres on Ferrito. But Ferrito ran him down. Great stuff by the Kangaroos defence.
That was a last-ditch, desperate, diving tackle. Absolutely brilliant.
And Sard had Snyder at the top of the goal square. He could have given it to. He thought it should have gone there, Snyder as well.
Delaney advances with it. Big double-handed slow bounce. Waiting, and now releases to half forward. Petrie shapes up well, hits it hard. He had great support. They played the advantage. Tarrant needed to nail it, and it's tailed off so far that it's out of the full.
He had Lindsay Thomas running with him as well. That was another one that they could have actually run in. Have a look at the desperation here from Michael Frito. Brilliant.
Well, right now, the Saints aren't able to apply enough pressure across that half-forward line to prevent the rebound footy that has propelled the Kangaroos forward.
It's looked very threatening, hasn't it, when they've been able to get it going from half-back to Roos.
Oh, a cracking game this so far. Great opening for a game that has got so much at stake.
The pensive Brad Scott with the Roos leading by 6. The inside 50 count is 10-7 in their favour. Hayes had a moment and got it again. Off to Snyder. Good combination. Can punch it into a one-on-one. Hard for Grimer. Tried to work the angles. Revolt beat him to it. Was given a lot of time to work it back to Stanley. As you can see, didn't complete the job. So he rides his luck out on the full.
A double mistake there from Reece Stanley. Fumbled the mark, but then he had to hook the ball back in.
Rocket the stoppages, plenty going on.
Yes, there is. That Gilbert's coming from half forward to pick up Wells at the stoppages, and then he lets him go after that, so it's just the stoppage. And the north wide winger, the winger on the opposite side of the stoppage, is holding 60 metres away from the action.
Delaney is gone.
That's ridiculous.
He moves with the dexterity of a statue, and Hayes punishes him. Big goal there to the Saints. Scores a level, and Delaney just got caught there looking for the handball. And when that option was covered, good play by the St Kilda defence to really cover the outlets here, and Snyder made him pay, and he was on the back foot all the time.
Rocket, you were getting some goal interrupted by Luke Delaney having a blooper.
Yeah, at the stoppages, the teams are changing their structures around all the time, and it's interesting. Gilbert's coming off the front end of the front of the square at half forward, and he's picking up Wells at the stoppages. Then after the stoppage, he plays his normal game, and sometimes he's actually going behind the play. Adams a few times has come into the centre bounce. Other times he comes off Fisher and plays a different role, releases and tries to release Wells. And when there's a stoppage on one wing or one side of the ground, the opposite winger is about 80 metres from the stoppage for North Melbourne. Hopefully they can switch it to him.
Hayes starting to move into top gear. Couldn't quite escape, but it does work to the advantage of the Saints. Goddard had the spot, popped it over. Sard makes sure of it this time, or does he? No, it's behind, and again he's being hounded by Michael Ferrito.
Love the work of Jack Stephen there. He sprinted from that last stoppage, and he got over to Shepherd for Goddard, who set up what should have been a goal.
I love the way Ferrito landed on Sard after he poleaxed him too, just to make sure he felt it all.
Michael Ferrito gave him everything that he had. He wound back the clock there. The only thing that the old days might have had, when he got up, he would have pushed off his head. Can't quite do that anymore. And free kick going the way of the Kangaroos. Pressure's been enormous on both sides. It's just a joy to watch. Good hard football on a Sunday afternoon. As Adams has it at half-back flank for the Kangaroos. Goes short into the corridor.
just looking at the numbers for the handballs received, it exposes the difference in the styles. 29 for the St Kilda and 41 for the Kangaroos.
Gibson to Delaney, got rid of it quickly that time to Grimer, who kept running, which is good play. Goldstein hit him with the handball. Over the top of the pack it goes here. Clark read it well and took the chest mark. Nice play, came off his man, lent some support. Saints now through Milton in the middle of the ground. Graham's run through, he could give it off, he wants to, now he decides to go long. Kaczynski's got position 1A here. Great defence though by Grimer, did really well. McMahon missed it, had to get boot the ball there. Handball from Rewald was too low for Montagna. Great play by Snyder, hasn't got a right boot though. He gets the handball, Graham kept going and kicks the goal. Graham went from half back to half forward and then kept going. That's what good hard running's all about, deserved the goal.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the concern for North Melbourne is all 4 of St Kilda's goals have come from turnovers. That time it was, I think it was Grimer's kick going inside 50. He missed everybody, missed all his teammates, kicked to a 1-on-2, and then all of a sudden how they didn't stop Adam Schneider in that sort of traffic. He was allowed to navigate through 3 or 4 flimsy tackles and found Graham in space.
So for the first time, St Kilda has a real advantage in this game, and they lead by 7. We get closer to quarter time, and the clearance domination that David King was referring to reflected there. 9-3. North still have had one more inside 50, but haven't been able to capitalise. Zeeble. Here's Graham watching closely Thomas, but it's Wells that looks for Thomas. Clark was onto it though, and he bounds away. Kick to a 50-50 at best. In fact, the extra height and strength was really with North Melbourne, and so was the support. Swallow sets it up for Hansen, who gets some protection and coverage from Tarrant.
Gee, that was a good kick from Swallow. Held the ball up well, put it out in front of him. It was great stuff.
Well, they were due for a good kick inside their attack. The last few have been really poor, and that would disappoint Brad Scott because they've had their opportunities, North. They haven't capitalised on them.
Just goes to focus the ability that you need off that half-back line. That was Clark coming off the half-back line. That should have been setting up a shot at goal. At the other end of the ground, Grimer cost his side a goal with a bad kick.
Still just 23 years of age, Lockie Hansen, and he's still finding it hard.
Really poor balance. His head was virtually over his left shoulder when he kicked that one.
The last 2 shots at goal have been out of bounds on the foot. Tarrant and Hansen, and both very gettable kicks at goal. So Graham, from the last line of defence, having been the last goal kicker in this game, boots it long, clears the 50. That's a great mark from Grimer, backed himself in, floated beautifully through the air. Now he decides to kick it long and strong. It's going to be 1 versus 3 here, and the Saints have got the numbers, and Fisher got the front spot on Tarrant and took the mark. Fantastic player, Sam Fisher. Ranked number 1 for the Saints for rebounds this season from 50. Had an injury-interrupted season with a hamstring. And just starting to find a bit of run at the moment. As Snyder just slows things down. Again, the Saints very conscious not to keep a frenetic running. And the turnovers that come from that sometimes that North Melbourne want them to do. Goddard's kick was dangerous. Attlee did well with the spoil. Goddard goes hard again, cleans up his own mess, gets it out to Montagna, who ricked his neck a little bit early on. Over the top to Hayes. Hayes kicks it up to the forward, half-forward flank position. A bad bounce for Rewald. Gets done there. Grimer over the top to Swallow. Here's a chance for the Kangaroos. Wells, beautiful handball over the top. No, it was into no man's land, and the turnover is complete now for the Saints. Away they go. The kick forward to Kaczynski, gets clean bowled. Knocked away by Delaney. Swallow hard at it. McMahon, good play. Adams brings the ball out wide, and Wells has got it at half-back with 2:20 on the clock.
Just as a Kilda midfield are doing no favours to their tall forwards. And they're getting hurt at ground level. Ball not going into their hands, and the Kangaroos rebounding well.
Wells to half forward. They all converged. The 3 North talls there, Hansen, Petrie, and also Tarrant, and the ball goes over and out. Are you happy with the way they're working together there, Jason, those tall forwards for North?
Well, they're endeavouring to, but I still don't think the kicks are going to the right spots, and that's hurting their setup at the moment.
Armitage. Delaney and Kaczynski. Was there any interference there? Milne doesn't mind. He's got the goals in his sights, or Nick Rewald. He was heading for the goals, but
He was. No doubt about that.
not much.
The pace of Attlee is worrying Stephen Milne. He knew he couldn't get away from him, so he actually kicked blindly.
Goldstein, delicate, and it ends with Stephen. His anticipation and execution were top-notch. And the Saints lead by 13 now. It'll be a very disappointed North Melbourne coaching staff, I reckon, at quarter time.
It will be, and one of the areas they'll look at, we spoke about it as one of the keys for North Melbourne contested possession. When they win contested possession, they win the game. It's 40-29 in favour of St Kilda, and he was uninterrupted running through there. No one with him, Jack Stephen. Look at that, all on his own. I don't know if it was Lee Adams that was trying to pick him up on the other side, or Zeeble, or whoever it was, but that is dangerous ploy when you've got to stop it deep in your defence.
And Jack Stephen extracts maximum advantage from that slack marking. The Saints have kicked 3 goals in, where are we at the moment? 27 minutes, so 3 goals in 7 minutes for the St Kilda side. 3 consecutive goals, and that gives them the 13-point advantage free kick.
Why have we started this decision again? We'd put it away for a couple of weeks, and now the umpires are just expecting superhuman efforts to get rid of it. It's a bloke half the size of Ben McAvoy in a big bear hug tackle. I don't know how he's supposed to get rid of the footy.
Minute 15, Saints bomb it forward through Armitage. Rewald! Up he goes, couldn't quite grab it. Kaczynski dives in, good play from Delaney, hard at the ball, will get a ball up 15 metres directly in front. Rewald did everything bar just hold it for that next half a second or so that would have got him the mark. Look at this, spectacular stuff.
Well, they've got one in the back. Well.
Good play by Goldstein coming the other way with the ball. Got the tap there. Zeeble tries to flick it out.
Gee, North need to bunker down this last minute. Not that they can't afford to give away a late one. And everyone's there, as you can see. Down to 54 seconds. McAvoy, Gilbert, literally everyone is there because even the defenders are right on the spot. Milne looks at Stanley versus Kangaroos. Wells hurried his kick away, perhaps didn't need to. Could have found the target, still might roll their way. Thomas, there was inches in that, and then North would have been heading into the forward 50. As it is, St Kilda can wind it up for one last effort. They lead by 13, the Saints. 25 seconds on the clock. Armitage, Revolt, pushing back towards the square. Could he take any longer? He was now. Downfield. Whose ball will it be? I think Milne's going back to claim it. He's giving it to Del Santo, maybe.
Well, he'd be the last bloke you want, given that he was on the wrong side for a left footer.
It's a soft downfield.
Yeah, wouldn't mind having another look at that if we can roll it.
I mean, it looks late in slow motion, you're right, but in real time, it's just as he's kicking it.
Del Santo trying to give it to Milne, who was very shy and humble about it.
How sloppy is that?
Oh, boy.
David Armitage has been a star for St Kilda, as is always often the case here. A lot of focus goes on to the big names, and it's been Armitage with 11 possessions at 75% kicking effectiveness. It's been one of the reasons they're back in front at quarter time.
How can there be open space with a player in it like that when the ball's held up for so long? How can you not get your defensive structure organised so that there's none of that? You make the player have the difficult shot from the pocket.
So they lead by 13. Armitage, who's been a fine player all year, even better today. They've kicked the last 4, the Saints, of the quarter to lead by 19.
It was a brilliant fight back by St Kilda. The Kangaroos got off to the fly, kicking the first couple of goals. Their speed across that half-back line looked like it was going to expose St Kilda's defence. And it was the likes of Armitage and Stephen, the new generation of St Kilda midfielders, that has brought them back, along with some maturity from Del Santo and Snyder.
So a lot of thinking to do in the North Melbourne camp. Terrific contest between the Saints and the Roos. We're back with the second quarter right after this.
Well,
and speaking of Spuds,
don't worry about that.
Chopped him up there.
Wow. Grant Thomas, former coach of St Kilda, he's hungry for success. And Spud is getting the good work out there from Grant Thomas. And good to see big Grant here enjoying himself today. Certainly enjoying those chips. Wouldn't want to get between Grant and that chip, would you, fellas? And I tell you what, though, the Saints have been fantastic. Let's go down to David King. There's some dramas there. No, in fact, he's got Scotty Waters.
Scott, a great first term. What pleased you the most about your start?
Oh, look, that we were able to adjust. I thought the first 6 or 7 minutes, it was way too fast, so that we were able to control the tempo of the game a little bit more and probably make North defend a little bit more. I thought we played smarter football, so we don't want to play flat out all night here.
Your message at quarter time there to the group?
Oh, look, it was about just tempo and controlling the game a little bit. Pick your moments to go fast, but there are times to make the opposition defend. We've got to be selective on how we move the ball.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks, mate.
There you go, Scotty Waters. And that's, I suppose, what you can do when you've got an experienced team who don't have to go frenetic all the time. Monday night is going to be sensational on Fox Footy. Have a look at this. AFL 360, Jared and Robbo, fantastic show. All the news and the views on the couch and then open mic.
Second quarter underway. Swallow released it right. Thomas charging after it, but had to try and make do with what was going to be a fickle bounce always. Gwilt handled to the voice of Graham, but he was collared pretty quickly. Geary working his way back to fitness. He's been a good contributor in the first half of the year. Now this time it ends. And the point about the tempo, I guess, they found themselves in some pretty high-scoring games, more so than they would have liked in the last few matches, haven't they, against both Adelaide and Richmond. The Saints, so wanting to avoid that necessarily. It's 19 points the margin. Here's Hayes. Milne looking for a free. It doesn't matter because Revolt arrived on the scene. Kaczynski and Stanley ready to break, but Revolt had his eyes on a granted prize, which was a long goal.
Didn't kick it flush, but it was a brilliant move by Lenny Hayes in that stoppage. Sold the football to Wells, and he bought it, got him around and set up Nick Rewald for the shot.
First score for the Saints, but Jason, North Melbourne have got to get the first couple here or they'll get blown out of the water.
Yeah, most definitely. They need to start the way they started the first term. Let's get the game back on their terms. Play with a little bit of poise, hit their targets.
Now, front and square, it's all the St Kilda Football Club at the moment. Is Geary again. He is dominating. Kicks it to the hot spot. Up goes Kaczynski. Couldn't get the grab. Good play from Del Santo over the top. Snyder just threw it. That was a throw. And it's a goal to Milne. Absolutely a throw. It was a hot potato. But Milne was fantastic in front of the big sticks and kicked it around his body. His favourite disposal. And the Saints have driven the first nail into the Kangaroos in his second term.
Be pretty keen to have a look at a replay of that because it was like a hot potato in the hands of Adam Schneider. Let's see what he does.
Open hand slap.
That's a throw as far as I'm concerned.
I don't think it's a throw as far as everyone's concerned, but they've got the great advantage. Firstly, they go to Cozzy. Initially, they went to Rewald, then they go to Cozzy. And whilst they're not taking the marks, they're able to get those small crumbing forwards at the foot of their pack. And on that occasion, they were able to get a nice little goal.
And that makes 5 in a row for St Kilda. And the warning bells well and truly ringing for North Melbourne. Let's see how they can counter. Goldstein wins the tap. Wells. Now Hansen got a little break on Clark. And that's a matchup they can work with.
It is, and we saw that first up in the first term. He's got too much height, and if he gets front position like that, it's a matter of winning the clearances and getting the ball forward for North.
Got to convert though now, doesn't he?
Well, he kicked well his first one. Let's hope he can follow up here because we'd like a good contest.
Yes, his first one was good, his second not so. A couple of out of bounds on the fall in the first term from the North Melbourne forwards, not helping their cause. They trail by 26. Hansen, bit of a stuttering run. That will do. It's a goal. And they've waited a while for that. That's his second. And trims the margin back to 20 points. And look, they're all getting around him. And the spirit's still strong.
Well, what happens with a centre square clearance is it doesn't give St Kilda time to allow a Sam Fisher to drop off, to get numbers around the ball, to get a 2-on-1 or to get a loose, or that +1 that we refer to in defence. It means all of the St Kilda defenders have to man up on their opponents. It's a 1-on-1 contest. Lockie Hansen's got a big size advantage over Raph Clark, and he used it.
Kicked the first goal of the game at the first minute mark, Lockie Hansen. Kangaroos were away to a flyer. They kicked the first 2. And that has ended a run of 5 consecutive goals for St Kilda. As you can see, 62% of the time inside the forward half for the St Kilda Football Club. North Melbourne have to try and get a couple of back-to-back goals here. In goes Adams. He's thrown to the ground. Good tackle, ball up. McAvoy locked him up. We'll have a ball up.
We've got to say Sean Dempsey's doing a terrific job, Jared. He's kept Brent Harvey just to 3 hand passes at this stage.
Yeah, they need a lift in that area. Sam Wright's doing okay on Goddard. They're allowing Del Santo and Wells to play wide of each other. At this stage, I reckon Del Santo's probably got the measure in that contest. The other one, of course, Ed, you predicted earlier, was Graham on Thomas, and Graham's done a darn good job in that matchup.
Yeah, not only has he matched up well, but he snuck down and got a goal, Jared, which is absolute gold. Ran off his opponent, McAvoy. Used the don't argue and got the tap, which was a good double whammy. There's Adams, who's the real igniter for this side. Kicks up to the half-forward flank position at the back. Tarrant used his body well. Harvey, Hansen finds some space. Good play, just chips it out wide. That was lovely stuff. At the Zeeble. Zeeble needs to look up, and he does. Now from behind, Tarrant! But he's going to give away a free kick, Thomas.
Gee,
Did he actually interfere?
I don't know if he had that much of an impact on the player in front of him, but he went up way before acceptances. It's really poor judgment, and it's probably cost him a goal.
Yep, Clark. Might cost him 2 the way things are going. Punched away from Kazitsky. Here's Fisher. Off hands. Clark again. Can go around. He gets the handle under Milne. Milne will go home. He's run down. Beautiful play. Gone. Gone. McMillan got him. So some desperation tackles have saved 2 goals for the Kangaroos. Great play. Bastanek chips out wide, 2 wide. McAvoy now on the rewind here. Look at this. He just flicks it over the top. Stephen goes forward. Good play by Bastanek. Got it down. Now Atley off half back. Kicks up towards half forward. Out comes Petrie. Gets it on the hop. Tries to go again. Good play. Dragged down. Nice tackle from Gilbert. Good play all round. It comes out to Wells. Just chips it forward. This is good play. Harper gets the handball going to Anthony. A high up and under to no one in particular is touched, so it's play on. Blake. Player down behind play as well. Have a look at that one. Graham knocks it forward. Good play by the Kangaroos. Here might come off. Adams! Crunch! Bang! Gone! Goal! Well done! That's sensational. Hard-headed football. Adams, you star.
Well, just a major lack of awareness there from Sam Fisher. He thought he was on his own, and he might have just done a little AC joint. Nothing that a small injection won't right just for the next couple of hours. But Lee Adams has been able to drag them back in on the back of a fantastic tackle by McMillan. It could well be a game changer, that tackle on Stephen Milne, who just is struggling with this new role that they've got him playing higher up the ground.
There's an ordinary hand pass from Blake. That puts him under pressure, but this kick here, that's a dangerous one. A bouncing kick there. He gets crunched in the bump. Adams picks it up and does well. And we saw Raph Clark go down again. I reckon he smothered the ball with his head when that kick came in. It bounced off his head.
He's on the bench at the moment, boys, getting some work, and so too Lockie Hansen getting that right thumb restrapped.
So it's back to 14 now. Over the top, McMahon did well, and 2 Saints crash into each other again. They're both down. There's casualties left, right and centre. North need to take advantage of that. Zeeble pokes the kick out wide for Swallow. He can go over to Anthony if he chooses, and he does. So inch by inch they crawl forward. Petrie makes his move now. Anthony looks a little uncertain about things. In the end, he kicked rather blindly. Tarrant had to contend with too much tall timber.
Well, when you kick it long, you've got to get a contest one way or another. And if that's the case, Robbie Tarrant's got to do everything he can just to smash the ball to ground and try and bring his smaller players into the game.
Again, you can see Del Santo trying to calm the rest of the troops down.
Alternatively for North, keep it away from the opposition ruckman when he drops back.
They found an opening in Blake.
Now they want to make Blake kick this.
Work it all back via Gwilt instead. Raph Clark's back on the ground as an option to go to. As he has a look on the horizon, doesn't see much long, so short again for Blake.
It's pretty much man on man everywhere around the ground at the moment.
Sends it up to the wing. Revolt being contained by Grimer, but not Goddard. They got away from right. Goddard's 7th disposal to half forward to Snyder. Oh, Gilbert can bolt back to the square. He was held up just for a moment. He still should have a free run at it here. No free kick, and they dodge one there, the Roos. Delaney to Bastanek. Are they out yet? They are not quite.
3/4 out. Stephen goes to ground. He's in trouble. Got himself extricated just in time. We'll have a bounce.
Even then, the hand pass from Bastanek coming out of defence was a poor one that put them under unnecessary pressure. just need to be a little bit cleaner with their hands.
Heard from David King. Hanson's had his thumb strapped. So we've got the ball at half-forward flank. Stephen. Left foot to the hot spot. Revolt is there. Kazitsky too. Delaney did well to punch it to the ground. Over the head went Sard. McMahon. Bastanak. 1-on-2. Good play, Drew Petrie. That's great stuff. Put his opponent out of business. Made sure if he didn't mark it, no one else would. And it's over the line, out of bounds.
One of the most important battles out there at the moment is Snyder and Ferrito. Snyder is just working his way up the ground, and he's getting involved in plenty of scoring chains.
Hayes off the pack, kicks it forward, and here's Ferrito's got clear. Looks up, not much on, so he's going to have to run and carry. Now he gets a handball going. Here comes the attacking player, Anthony. Good play. Looks up, Harvey's the man. He kicks it forward. Harvey has to run hard. Just sits and waits on that occasion, knocks it forward. He saw that, got it out to Thomas. Thomas kicks to the goal square. Tarrant couldn't quite hold it. Good play. Oh, that is great play by Quilt and a smother. Great play all round, desperate stuff, rush behind.
Deserved a goal, that tap in from Boomer Harvey.
Yeah, he read it a mile out, didn't he, Jared?
The kick from Anthony should have hit him in the first place. He should have been having a set shot. They're letting themselves down with their skills. You've got St Kilda kicking at 71%, North Melbourne 64%.
They're having a little surge at the moment, the Roos.
Still a bit of concern down here for Sam Fisher. He's in the rooms at the moment getting that... he's just made his way back onto the bench, sorry, boys. Getting that shoulder worked on. No doubt he's had a little jab in there. And the Kangaroos trying to load up with tools if they can. Hanson trying to get desperately back onto the field.
Goddard marches across half-back and to Blake. Tarrant decides that he couldn't get there.
Rock, it appears to be a real Indian arm wrestle with the Kangaroos trying to play fast tempo and the Saints trying to slow it down.
Yes, that's right, Jared. I don't think that the Saints want to get in a shootout as far as speed's concerned through the midfield, and both teams seem to be very reluctant when they're between the arcs of kicking it long to their tall forwards. They both want to overuse the ball and are actually getting caught with it.
Yep, good spoil again from Atley. He's doing a good job on Milne, and Milne is starting to get near the footy. Good releasing handball. McMillan takes it from Ferrito. Just a small moment to assess. But didn't quite execute whatever was on his mind.
Once again, there's a price to pay for Ferrito being allowed to stay back. Snyder goes up the ground, gets some ball, but Ferrito's stopped two forward moves in the last 2 minutes.
Del Santo had to go. He knew it. And he couldn't get the angle required. So another minor to the Saints. We're 7-4-46 and North 5-2-32. Delicate balance here in this second term.
Brent Harvey's just made his way to the bench, doubled over in pain down here. Wouldn't be surprised if he copped a short, sharp one to the ribs.
Grimer, old-fashioned kick out that one to a pack at half-back. Anthony wanting the boundary line. Great play.
Oh, that's a throw, surely.
Geary's been good. Just scoop that one up and Anthony will win that battle. Well, nearly 50 here. Just gives it back in time. There's Boomer taking the deep breaths in at the moment. Kanga's trying to get some play now through the corridor. Look up, Wells is there. Decides Ferrito to go further afield. Grimer chips it out wide. Oh, they've mucked it up. Bastanak. He's locked in and held up. He's in a lot of trouble. Mercy rule says the umpire, ball up.
Wasn't a great kick, but he's also having the horrors too, Ryan Bastanak.
That was great. That was fantastic pressure from Sard. Sard ran from one back pocket to the other. Sorry, one forward pocket to the other forward pocket. He's gone past three of his teammates to put pressure on then.
Rodney Eade with the extra analysis today in this huge game. It's, I was going to say a mini final, but it's almost a major one for North Melbourne and St Kilda. So delicately balanced outside the top 8 at the moment. Desperate stakes for McMillan. Just handballed in hope. McMahon went with him. Got it out to the wing. Petrie took on two and beat them both.
They're on in the corridor.
They are.
Look inside.
Adams charging to centre half forward. Swallow first stop. Little handball through the middle. Bastanak need to deal it. Adams, one more across to Wells. He goes for an extra to Harvey just to make sure of it, or maybe not. One too many, maybe two too many, and the Saints get away.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what you can put that down to, and I don't like to say it, but that was selfish by Brent Harvey. He wanted to run around the player and kick a goal and ran himself into trouble.
So Milne relieves. Well, they needed that one, the Kangaroos too. They could pay at the other end because that is a fantastic mark taken by Armitage. Could be a 12-point turnaround this. 14 points to lead St Kilda. Armitage, no one there. He just runs round onto the left boot, doesn't quite get onto it. Rewalt's looking for the free kick for obstruction, but getting back is Goldstein and does it well. Chips it out. Now they're on again, the Kangaroos. Gibson. Anthony.
Just got to put a bit more thought into those long bombs. There was 3 Kangaroos in the square up against Nick Rewalt. If you're going to go there, it's got to go to an advantage.
Not much on, so they're just going to hold it up in their back 50 at the moment. Goldstein, again, playing that quarterback role, getting back to lend some assistance. McMahon drops it, just puts his teammates under a bit of pressure. Now the ball comes up. Delaney breaks the tackle, gets the handball, but it was at his feet. Picked up by McMillan, who's been good. They're in trouble. The turnover's going to come here. Wright gets it knocked out of his hand, and there it is. Del Sando into the middle of the ground. Schneider looks up, stubs his toe. It's still out in front of Rewalt, who meets it full-chested. No one to give it to. He has to go back to Schneider. Schneider on hands and knees, just shovels it out. McAvoy back as well. Now Stanley just slaps it on the boot. They've got the numbers back, the Kangaroos, and Siebel takes a strong mark at centre half.
Well, that's just dumb play from Stanley. They're under pressure. The reason he's got the ball is because his man is down at the other end of the ground by himself.
But a very frustrated Nick Rewalt watching on as Gibson in his 3rd match. Was the sub last week after debuting a couple of weeks ago against the Gold Coast. Been quite a journey for him.
I reckon Brad's got to be pretty frustrated at the moment as well. The quality of some of the handballs that North Melbourne are trying to run with is frightening.
Well, they're finding ways at either handballing at the feet or above their head. They've given us the full raft of slightly astray handballs. Siebel back to Gibson. Bit of tumbling going on off the ball from Wells. It's
a great kick.
It is, yeah. There was no margin for error, but he finds Anthony.
At least with the kicks, you get the option to stop and look, rather than hand pass where you have to play on.
Thomas is on his own at the mark.
And Petrie slides in.
Geez, he could play this bloke.
Well, he is when he's playing well, Ed. He's back in form. The Gold Coast, he got him across the line. Prior to that, I reckon he was struggling, but last 2 weeks and this game in particular, he's starting to look as if he's the killer player he can be.
26-11 for the year.
Yeah, a good kick here would be so critical. It all of a sudden just tends to even things up a little bit when they've looked like they're going to shoot themselves in the foot a number of times.
His numbers are only slightly down on last year, averaging 2.3 goals a game compared to 2.1, but that one counts. And North Melbourne cut it back to 8 points with Petrie's 2nd goal. And this has, in the end, been a very good quarter for North Melbourne.
Yeah, they've been on fire and they could have been even further forward. Let's take a look at the Boomer Harvey decision.
Jason, he wants to kick the goal. He's desperate. He shows it and then he wants to run around and then realises I'm about to be collared. And the opportunity's lost. He should have kicked it first up.
He was probably off angle a little bit, running in on his right boot, but he could have just speared the pass into the goal square.
He could have kicked it left foot. He could have kicked the banana that he's so good at kicking.
Yeah.
He just tends sometimes to just run around too many players and make a certainty of it.
3 in a row to the Kangaroos. Jason Dunstall said, wow, if they get one against them here, they're going to be in big trouble. Well, they've responded, got the next 3, and we've got a ball game back on our hands here. 8 points of difference, St.Kilda in front. Haven't scored a goal since the 1.5-minute mark of this term. We've been going for 17.5 now. And as I said, 3 consecutive goals to the Kangaroos.
And a change up here for the Saints. Rewalt off. They're going with a much smaller full forward. His name's Snyder.
And the other thing that North have done is they've fixed up their kicking. I said before they were 63%. They're now back up to 70% because they've started to hit some targets. Makes a huge difference.
Kangaroos have got one right off the pack here in McMillan. They get a loose handball. He'll be away to the cleaners.
Hayes, of course you'd expect to be in there. Gilbert, he's caught, he dragged it in, he's in a bit of trouble, he's gone.
Well, at the other end, Sam Fisher's loose behind play, so they've got to be careful the way they bomb this ball forward.
Harper goes out wide to Ziebel. Ziebel looks up, he's got one inside Anthony. Just broke a little bit too early, he's still in the space, Anthony. Decides to go long. Good kick up towards Hanson, off the hands of the pack there. Picked up by Stephen for St Kilda. Saints just working it around. They've got McAvoy in the corridor if they need to go there. It's a high up and under, and it's not worked well for the Saints. They caught one high. Harper knocked it out. Oh, great play by Wells. Here's a chance. Petrie has to beat 3 of them. He's being held. He's dragged. It's off hands. Hanson needs to flick it over. No, he kicks his 3rd instead. Great play. Petrie took 2 of them on and brought it to ground, and Hanson kicked the goal. 4 in a row to the Kangaroos, and it's 2 points the difference.
It's amazing the difference when you can put pressure on deep in defence and get an honest contest from your forwards. Bring the ball to ground, and all of a sudden, the opposition's defenders are under the pump.
Well, this is one that should have been killed by Big Boy McAvoy. That had to go across the line. But it was kept alive, and Hansen did the right thing.
Well, good on him for having taking the responsibility, Jared.
He did. He could have flipped it over, but that certainly wouldn't have been a guaranteed goal, and he took responsibility, as I said, Hutto, and got the job done. They're right back in at just 2 points down.
So that's 4 consecutive goals. The margin back to 2. The low bounce, and Goldstein knocked it away. And they're forward again. Thrusting it was Anthony Petrie over his head. Got through the cracks to the back. Hansen wraps up Clark, put him under all sorts of pressure, but got him high.
He said he ducked in.
Just look at the chief ball winners for the Kangaroos at the moment. Liam Anthony has had a magnificent quarter. He's had 8. Wells is doing really well with half a dozen. Zeeble half a dozen. The chief ball winner for the Saints at the moment is Nick Del Santo.
They've got a runner.
He's just had 5.
Well, it's a bit of a spot fire down here. 2.5 for Thank Goddard and Adams having a good look at each other.
It's a holding penalty, the umpire actually said, so that was the 50-metre penalty.
They've just got to start winning some more footy here.
Oh,
the Saints
2 players have just come off the bench.
That's one way to win it.
Oh, I want to see that again. I want to see that again. Atley looked like he had him for speed.
And went straight at the ball, didn't deviate.
Well, Graham and Stephen had both come straight off the bench. They got the square ball from Revolt, and then they kicked to Milne on the lead.
Let's play on all day, Jace.
Very pedantic, isn't it?
So Milne comes in. He kicked their only goal of the quarter, Stephen Milne. He's a sharpshooter, but he's hit the post.
Tell you what, there's plenty of Kangaroo supporters here. There's been a call made out for the Kangaroos to turn up, and they are here in their droves.
Well, that's all down that end too.
Something we haven't heard for a long time, but they're here. The blue and white faithful have answered the call.
Oh, this is going to upset them with that push out not being played.
Yeah, they've said that was more in the back than the last one. Quilt's kick was a good one, though. Monaca's been taken by Armitage.
It's normally a good option, the long kick to a one-on-one with Drew Petrie, but Quilt just worked him under the footy.
So Armitage goes short with the kick. He's kicked it out in the full. Listen to the Kangaroo fans. The great thing about it is they're here in numbers, but they're also involved. They're not passive, the Kangaroo supporters today. They are up and going. McMahon from the back pocket. Kicks it long, but to no one.
Shocking kick.
Terrible kick, and Fisher takes the mark.
So no goals in this quarter for the Saints. So 1 goal now with that 1 goal 3 to 4-1 for the term. Top of the square, it hits, and they can use the natural pace. Montagna streams in and pops it through.
Bit of a fluky goal, though, that one, and that is...
I reckon Justin Kaczynski knocked the whole pack over.
Well, it exemplifies their problem, though. They've gone inside their forward 50 on 13 occasions for 1 goal, for 2 goals, 3 now, Jason. They have not got any system whatsoever going into their forward line.
A few North players remonstrating with the umpire. I reckon they're a little bit upset with a couple of decisions. Have a look at Kaczynski coming in here late. He just runs arm into the back of Grimer. That should be a free kick. And he knocks the whole pack over. It's like 9 pins. Down they go.
Strike.
Did a terrific job to allow the ball to open up for Montagna.
Get a spare for that, don't you?
Yeah.
So the Kangaroos quite rightly not happy with the last couple of minutes of free kicks going against them, and the Saints go back out to an 8-point lead with Montagna's 2nd goal of the game. They go forward again, the Saints, slapping of the arms. Well, they'll be jumping the fence in a moment, the Kangaroos supporters.
Well, he did take the arms in.
Yeah, there's a free kick
problem with that.
Stanley, yeah, but they're not seeing it that way.
Got to stand tall here, the North defence.
A big bomb up. Kaczynski's got the front spot. Up goes McAvoy as well. McAvoy's there. He's taken the mark. That's exactly what they didn't want to happen, the Kangaroos.
The disappointing thing is, where was Todd Goldstein there?
Let's go to Rodney Eade.
Yes, Ed, I think it's very interesting, guys, that both teams when they attack deep are putting the pressure on that defensive side. But both sides want to muck around with the ball, in between the arcs, go short, try and get a perfect pass. But if they go deep, both sides are actually putting pressure on and look like they're going to score.
To make the margin 14 points. Make that 15 points. McAvoy comes in and puts it through for his first.
Well, that's when he becomes a really valuable player, McAvoy. Still a young man, still learning his craft, but he's flirting with being out of the side if he doesn't go forward for mine. This is where he becomes a really top-line player. And you can see Kazitsky there and Rewald, I should say, just holding back the tide, making it nice and easy for him.
Look at Todd Goldstein just jogging 20 metres away from this pack. Couldn't get back there.
Not sure he was on him at that stage. I think he might have been on Reece Stanley. I think Ferrito might have had responsibility for him there, Jason.
Needed that bloke at the back, Hamish McIntosh, just his head partially obscured there. They'd love to have him in the side today.
Margin is 15. Goldstein high, winning the tap. Roos need to respond with 3 minutes remaining in the quarter. They bundle it forward. Graham, tight stuff in there. Thomas. Dempster now. Oh, it's going to be a ball up. Swallow trying to rip it out of his hands. Down to the last 3. Goldstein. Stephen not having it all his own way. Swallow heaved it out. McMillan able to get a bit of spread wide here for Gibson. Now Petrie's about 30 out and well set here. One-on-one. He tries to push off Blake, got a gentle shove. McAvoy got in the road, but couldn't stop Adams. And his second goal just cuts it back to 9.
He hits the packs hardly, Adams. He's become a very effective goal kicker because he reads the play well and he crumbs the packs beautifully. And it was a good contest again from Petrie with McAvoy coming back hard.
Tell you what, McAvoy ran harder than I've ever seen him run before. That was fantastic work. Unfortunately for him, he didn't have support at ground level. Here's the handball from Swallow that got it all going. And then the short chip kick lines it up. And this was a great attack on the ball by all concerned, but mainly McAvoy, but it was Lee Adams at ground level that did the damage.
Well, the captain set that up. That was just magnificent play by Andrew Swallow. That handball went 15 metres back, opened up the play and got him going. Here they go again, and here he is on cue. The captain goes long, strong down.
That's a free kick against Dempster for tackling Brent Harvey. What happened was after Harvey got the clearance, he was a little bit upset with some of the attention that Dempster paid him. He retaliated and then Dempster got caught, grabbing him and slinging him to the ground.
So Robbie Tarrant last week went into the game with only 1 career goal. Kicked 4 last week. This is a massive kick. Harvey getting cleaned up behind play by Dempster, as Jason said. And Robbie Tarrant comes in and kicks behind.
Well, he's just struggling to make an impact at the moment, just his second possession, and that's a costly miss.
Have a look at this. You'll see here, he doesn't like getting taken to ground. After that, he just pushed Dempster once he got up, Brent Harvey, and then Dempster really grabbed him and threw him to the ground.
Ferrito, as it bubbles around just outside the 50, Harvey. All St.Kilda there. Sam Fisher doing what he does so well. Takes the mark. And again, the Saints prepared just to wait.
Nice screen from Blake there.
Stanley's down the line with Goldstein, and Nick Revolt comes into frame as well. But Stanley, the most athletic and aggressive for the footy. Again, showing his great marking prowess. Comes up a little lame. Minute 45. Saints holding on to an 8-point lead. Looks very uncertain about where to head next. Graham can go to Blake. Wilt's out the other side. For the Chinese checkers to get themselves on the way out. Now Grilt told to move it.
Good chase.
Can go to Gilbert. Minute and a half to go. All the way for Saad. McMahon did enough. Gibson, Wells and Swallow just scheming off half-back. Short for Petrie. A minute 15 as they wind up again.
Swallow's been good. Good captain's quarter. Delaney. A big minute coming up in this game. McMahon just chips it. He left it up in the air a long time.
Pop one around the ear.
And the captain had to go.
That might be 50, it is.
50.
That'll be a shot for goal.
Just getting a bit ragged here, the Saints, and I reckon their coach would be a little bit disappointed that they've conceded such a good lead at quarter time. Kangaroos.
Oh, he's copped one right in the side of the head with the forearm.
It's on the wing.
Yeah.
North better be careful. I guess both sides better be careful.
You see Ahmed Saad came in, started to give it to Drew Petrie, then Petrie turned around and Saad said, I'm a little bit out of my weight division here.
You want to go and get a new jumper?
Pay 50 against Stephen Milne. That's another 50.
Another 50. There you go.
That was Stephen Milne just dropping the bump in.
They just got ragged, as we said.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they've lost the plots. Experienced player.
Can't take his number, that's for sure.
No, you can't, but you can sub him.
Swallow, for an act of courage, eyes for the ball, copped one high, gets a 100-metre penalty and puts his team within 2 points. Well done, skipper. Great play.
Righto, Rocket, your side's been sucked in with 5 minutes or a couple of minutes to go. What do you do?
Oh, I think you have to address it at half-time. There's no doubt the Scott Waters will talk about that and just reinforce how good they normally are and how much character they've got. And they've cost a bad goal. And that's now they're playing well this quarter. They've been outplayed by North Melbourne. They need to address that. And obviously get back on the bike and play the way they were in the first quarter. Head over the footy. Make sure they get the free kicks right in the opposition.
He's a game man, Stephen Milne, taking on Michael Ferrito.
Well, that is just the coaches hate that. It's bad enough giving away the first 50, but he's got to kick it from 50. He's not going to miss from on the line.
2 points in it then. Down to the last seconds, only 30 remaining. Geary can't repair the damage from what happened before. Zeeble, high ball, Clark at the stand, a long time underneath it. He'll get some credits for that.
Oh, and Tarrant gives him a spray too.
Bangs it up to the wing. 10 seconds on the clock. Crown are going to make plenty of noise at half-time. They are right involved in this game. Big billing is a final of sorts coming in round 14, and it's living up to all expectations.
Here's Robbie Tarrant here. Oh, he just gave it to him.
Well, Kazitsky needs a lift. He hasn't had a kick.
Yeah, they've got a few down, Ed. The other one is Brendan Goddard. He's being hard tagged. Doesn't often get a hard tag. And at this stage, he's had just 8 touches, which is, well, he should be getting about 20% of his pay.
6 goals to 3 that quarter. The Kangaroos were trailing by 19 points. And you thought if the Saints got off to a flyer, they would run over the top. Well, they did. They got the first goal through Stephen Milne and got out to a 26-point lead a minute and a half into the opening of this second term. And then 4 goals to the Kangaroos, 2 to St.Kilda, and then the last 2 in time on to Adams and Swallow, courtesy of a 100-metre penalty. And this is a ripping game. 8-point game, we called it before the match. Well, we are in for a beauty here on Fox Footy. You're seeing it live, you're seeing it exclusively, you're seeing it uninterrupted, siren to siren. The best way to see it, and you'll be seeing it exactly the same at the Olympic Games with 8 high-definition channels. Look at that, the Kangaroos to their adoring fans run off as one. Fantastic stuff here at Etihad Stadium. We'll take a break and we'll come back and give you uninterrupted siren to siren in the second half of this classic game. St Kilda 9-5-59, lead North Melbourne by 2 points, 9-3-57. This is Fox Footy.
Welcome back to Etihad Stadium, where the St Kilda Football Club lead the Kangaroos by 2 points. But in that second term, it was a clearance situation where the Kangaroos got themselves back into the game. 10-4, as you can see, in Goldstein. His tap work was magnificent. Game on, game alive at Etihad.
Certainly is, Kingy, as we get ready for the third quarter and get ready for another big week on Fox Footy. It's a 2-point lead here to St Kilda.
And Hutto, can I give you a little tidy up? Parko threw me off there. He said 95 and 97. 95, they won the flag. 97 looked like he was going to get the elbow for Gerard Healy. But Gerard quite rightly probably thought the their glory days were behind him, so he stayed in the commentary box. Might have been a good decision. It's going to be a great interview tomorrow night. Mike Sheehan.
Yep, looking forward to it.
We love open night, Mike. Just fantastic interviews with some of the great personalities in the game.
All right, we're set to go. Third quarter from Etihad Stadium. As Kingy said, it is very much game on. McAvoy and Goldstein meet in the middle. Wells under some attention from Del Santo. Geary chips in, and it's in there quickly. Revolt and Goddard, who's been thrust forward, got some high contact, and I guess Jason has recognised probably the advantage he might have against Wright, who does play in defence, but you'd think Goddard has some physical advantage over him forward, do you think?
Well, he should have, but Wright's done a pretty good job. Goddard's really struggled as far as the match is concerned in having an impact, and they're throwing him forward to see what that might bring.
It has worked in the past at times. Brendan Goddard
Well,
in front. It's an ugly, ugly kick, and it's marked by Goldstein.
Took a divot.
That's amazing stuff, isn't it?
Well, he's one of the best kicks in the competition.
Just 9 possessions, and he's kicking it 33%.
Goldstein.
Yeah, Ruckman just ran around someone on the last line of defence.
Pretty aimless kick. Wells. He's just sweating on it in there. Harvey, they try and shut him down, and they do shut him down.
And who says there's no compassion in footy? I saw Sam Wright go straight up to Goddard and just inquire as to his health and whether or not he was okay.
I think it was the sand coming up to the divot.
Did he replace the divot?
I don't know.
Got out a box of sand there. Nearly a scratch goal for two. Brendan Goddard. Milne kicks it right to the hot spot. Good kick off one hand.
Yeah, that's 50.
And it's a free kick and 50.
You can hear a clear explanation from the umpire. As he said to Ahmed Saad, that's all it could have been against you for holding his arm. And you can just see it there. He's holding his left arm.
Well, Ahmed would want to get on his bike because Terry Malira is on the bench and they'll be looking to substitute him on at some stage.
Adams' kick is a beauty. Up they fly. Good punch from Clark. Through for a rush behind. Killed that one. That's the way you want to see it. Defensive spoil.
Amazing how clubs use their interchange now. The number of times you see a player come on and receive the ball, he sneaks on. Sometimes a player goes off and the player doesn't come on immediately.
Yeah. There's some people in high places that don't like that too.
I get the funny feeling you might be able to do that for the rest of this year, and that's it.
Gwilt brings it back. Oh, that's going to come back.
Well, we get another rule. That's what we need.
Delaney, he's ready to wind up. Tarrant might just set himself. Hanson there as well. It's not going to even get there. McAvoy.
Oh, gee, he did well. Tarrant's got to find a way to have an impact and get to contests. He got thrown because he was holding opponents out of the contest there, but he's played himself on here.
There's confusion reigning for a moment for Clark, close to the line, stays in. Del Santo organised himself well with Hayes, but the kick from the number 7 is taken pretty comfortably by McMahon, and they can go right around the zone here if they want, and they will, and it's Atley.
Atley, who was so good last week, runs in and out of trouble. Great play there for St Kilda on an occasion by Saad, just corralled him beautifully. He's able to get the kick away.
If Stephen Milne had stayed on his man, it would have been very interesting to see how Atley got out of that.
Okay, big moment for McMillan. Bombs it long. Plenty of high flyers. Oh, Hanson had a fair piece of it, couldn't quite get it out. Over the top of his Harper, he's in a bit of trouble. It's out, said the umpire. Harper did well there, just closed his legs on it, and now we'll have a ball up.
It's probably one he should have marked. Lockie Hanson, you can just see him disappointed with himself there, slapping the hands. He didn't get a good purchase on it.
So a big opportunity. The Kangaroos trail by 1 point. St Kilda have led since the 23rd minute mark of the first term. Hanson in again. Ball's dropped. Hanson goes a second time. Hands and knees. He might be in a bit of trouble here. He's on top of the ball, and the umpire is bouncing.
So standoff continues early in the third quarter. Saints by 1. Vacant goal square here. Goldstein. Stephen had a moment, and another. There's no way out. Umpire lets it roll, and now intervenes. Just the numbers around the footy. And they're not spreading too far away. McAvoy down to Fisher. Smart kick, or was it smart? It's a pretty dangerous kick, isn't it? A hurried one out of a stoppage these days. McMahon sets it up, but for who?
Shocking kick.
Oh, the Saints. Well, was it really a mark?
That is a very average decision. They spoiled each other, and the umpire got them out of jail.
The Kangaroo fans going nuts at the moment. I reckon they've been on the wrong end of a few umpiring decisions in the last 15 minutes of play or so. Over the line it goes. Listen to the Kangaroo fans.
This is Ralph Clark and Jaron Geary competing for each other, and no one controlled that at any stage.
No. So bad decision. Swallow, who was so good in the latter part of that second quarter, kicks forward. Look at that. They crash hard at the ball. In goes McMillan. Here's a chance for Thomas. Bounces it forward, scores a level.
Rodney, just wondering your thoughts on how they're going to run this interchange, St Kilda. They've currently got Big Cozzy off the ground. They've got a runner, Malira, that could come on. There's lots of...
Warming up too, Jared.
Well, there's a lot of options they've got, particularly now that they've put Goddard into the forward line.
Yeah, I think so, Jerry. I think they seem to be lacking a little bit of run, don't they? Against North seem to have a bit more run over the top of the ground. So I think Malira will be a good injection for them. Who the player they take off, maybe it is Cozzy. But they'll have to decide that. But I think Malira will be a good injection for, and I think they're going to take the punt soon.
Saints wobble the ball out to half-back flank position.
Cozzy back now on the ground.
Off hands. Adams. Harvey looks inside. He's got a few lined up. It's a beautiful kick. Mark taken there by McMahon. Right, Swallow over the top. Bastanek has to wait for it to sit up. He does now, just chips it out wide. Zeeble has it. 65 out, decides to kick to the hot spot. They've got plenty of numbers here, the Kangaroos. One of them is Drew Petrie, who puts up one mitt and pulls it in and can put his side in front.
He just threw up the left glove, and that is a sensational mark. It was Goddard dropping back in the hole. Once again, a contested mark, 1 against 2.
Yeah, once again, a tall forward exposing the Saints. It's their big Achilles heel. And it could just cost them the 4 points by game's end.
Petrie's kicked 2. He's kicked 230 goals. 161 behinds in his magnificent career. He comes in from 35 directly in front. It's got plenty of bend on it, but it's through the goals when it's swung away. It's a beauty. And the Kangaroos hit the front for the first time since a 23-minute mark of the first term.
Well, they've really missed Zach Dawson this year, haven't they? St Kilda losing him to Fremantle. They just don't have a key defender that can reach as far as Dawson could.
No, he's been sorely missed.
Well, Gwilt actually didn't fly with him. He thought there was enough traffic there that he didn't go up at all. When your man goes up, you've got to go with him.
Just have a look at the size of Gwilt. I mean, he's undersized for the role he's been asked to play.
He saw Goddard, he saw Ralph Clark, he thought, oh, we're going to get a contest, but it wasn't to be. In fact, Blake now.
Blake has been his man for much of the afternoon. As we move into the evening, North lead by 6. They've kicked the last 3 goals too. Zeeble and Wells formulate a plan on the run up to the 50. Fisher hemmed in by Tarrant, and you can see the resulting kick. It is high. There's a scrap going on in the centre of the ground, which we might get to in a moment, but it's cleared up as Dempster takes it over the line. It was Cozzy and Zeeble that were having a bit of a crack at each other.
I reckon Robbie Tarrant's got to find a way very quickly to have an impact, or he might find himself with the red vest on. Just hasn't been his day thus far.
North by 6. Oh, he stole a march then, Wells. Top of the 50, big race on. Will able to back himself. And now try and contain the footy. Job not done yet, though. Clark arrives for reinforcements. Back to Gwilton between them. They get it to somewhat of safety. Has to bend over Stanley, and we know he's got those attributes to run. Pumps the handball to half forward. Sard, been a hard day for him. Stanley guides it more than anything. Well-placed ball, Goddard. Not quite. And again, not quite.
Yeah, Nick Del Santo absolutely filthy, and rightly so. He was missed by Stanley. He went for the easy longer kick.
Millen Shepherd was absolutely first class. Now the Kangaroos on the rebound. Petrie again. Boy, is he presenting today. Yep. Fantastic stuff. Little chip over the top. They're all running forward, and Adams has got it.
Oh, shanked it.
He shanked it. It came off, though. Goldstein shanked it even again.
That's That's ridiculous.
It's like a game of golf with me watching this at the moment.
That's two shanks. They had Liam Anthony in space. That's where Adams was trying to kick it. He shanks it to Goldstein. And Goldstein, rather than flick it over the top, decides to have a shot off one step and kicks it out in the full.
To be fair, they did hit the ball.
Yeah, I suppose they did. 3 times they've kicked the ball out of bounds on the full, the Kangaroos, at this end, when there were goals absolutely in the offing.
They must be getting concerned, Jason, about their work rate at ground level. The Saints, they are just being outrun at the moment by the Kangaroos.
And they're surging again. Adams out of the corner of his eye. He saw Zeeble. Couldn't quite hit the target. Blake and Raph Clark go to work. But again, that's a fruitless kick. Straight back to the opposition.
Oh, he's got the corridor on. Too
He's
slow.
got control of the game. They just can't put it through the sticks.
Back from Wentz. And charging over the top, Tarrant did well to make a contest. Keeps it bubbling for the Roos. Adams, the deal. Anthony sprays another.
Too many blokes that can't kick the footy at the moment. It's just killing North Melbourne.
Touched over the line by Montagna.
He needs to find a way into the game.
4 direct shots have gone out of bounds on the full. We're close enough to it. That one just touched over the line by Montagna. Throw in. Kangaroos are dominated, but they have to get a bit of scoreboard reward here. Hansen does it well. Wells has been fantastic. He's been held up beautifully by Stephen. He'll get a free kick here, nearly. No, said the umpire.
Inside 53 to 9 in this quarter. 37 possessions to 20. The Saints cannot get their hands on the Sheriff.
Wells has been dangerous in these stoppages so far today. Up goes Goldstein. Adams slips it out. Anthony, handball, called out wide, picked up by Hayes. Interception was good. Clearing kick. Milne's going to have to beat 3 here. Ferrito just tunnels him.
Free kick to Ferrito.
Free kick going to Ferrito. Well, I don't know what else he could do. He went straight at the ball. Kangaroos fans are pretty happy with it. Don't they? With a free kick. Got him with the arm. Yeah, good call.
He saw him coming.
So big spud Ferrito.
He could just about put this through.
Right on it. So he'll kick from 52, 53.
In 183 games, he's kicked 28 goals.
He's due.
28-29, in fact. So the big man who's played so well, saved the goal with a beautiful tackle. Shows why he's playing at full back. To the goal square. Good mark. McAvoy getting back. Always great to see a ruckman do that. Gary Dempsey in the old days patented that mark on the last line of defence. So McAvoy brings the ball out from full back.
He does. Right and Goddard. There could have been some interference there. Not spied by the umpire. Anthony fashions a kick. Zeeble saw ball, got ball, gave it to Wells. Goal to the Kangaroos. And they are hot at the moment at Etihad Stadium. They've kicked the last 4 and they take an 11-point lead at the midway stage of the 3rd term. And look good things, a long way out from home.
Importantly, Rockets starting to get some reward for the dominance they're having early in the 4th term.
Yeah, they seem to reverse the trend that we predicted pre-game about St.Kilda's press and their ability to put pressure on in the forward 50, but they've just had the ball stationed in their forward 50 for a long amount of time. They've had the reward, then they should be another 3 or 4 goals up, there's no doubt about that, but they seem to be running on top of the ground a lot more than St Kilda. St Kilda seem to have stagnated, and it seems as if they're running with actually very heavy legs.
Their ball getters just aren't getting it. Stephen, no touches. Montagna, none. Snyder, none. Armitage, none in this term.
Daniel Wells playing one of his best ever games in a high-pressure situation. Been sensational. He got the clearance again for the Kangaroos. They've got it up in their half-forward line. Thomas dived in, might have got one in the back. Umpire said play on. The kick goes forward from McMillan. It's chopped off by McAvoy.
Is it time, Rocket, to go with a hard tag on Daniel Wells?
I think he's the difference at the moment. There's no doubt. I think him and Adams are the ones that are generating a great deal of drive, and I think maybe Dempsey's got to go to him, or they've got to have the 2 tags on Harvey and Wells.
Geary. It's not tempo football at the moment from St Kilda. The Kangaroos just putting the pressure right on him. Kazitsky flies from behind. It comes to the ground. Montagna picks it up, looks up forward, kicks forward, but there's a 2-on-1 here. Oh, great courage. That was magnificent from McMahon. Had to go hard. He did fairly and cleaned up Greenwald at the same time. Got the double whammy. Stuck his boot out there, did right, did enough, just take the pace off the ball. They dive in on top. They'll have another bounce, and Greenwald's in a lot of trouble. Rodney Eade, you had a good look at that. Tell us what you saw.
Well, I think he's probably coming to the game with a bit of an injury. I think he's already had the knee.
McMahon gave him a bit of work there. Reminiscent of the old days at Brisbane, and as a result of that has given away a stupid free kick. So there you go. McMahon went Roosters should have just been happy with what he got. And the St Kilda skipper now can just wind up here.
Now the mark's right on the 50 and Grime has gone back a few metres.
Has been out of sorts. We know he's got a sore knee. We know he's got a sore calf. He was cleaned up in the marking contest. But can the skipper just drag one out? From 52 metres, the kick's on its way. Won't be a score, but it's right up in the goal square. It's not over yet, North fans, but it is now. And they get out of jail, and McMahon breathes a big sigh of relief.
He's feeling it, Nick Rewalt. He's blowing hard. He got whacked there in all parts of his body. You can just see him taking a bit of time to recover. And gee, that was a tiny little bump, wasn't it?
It certainly helped fix up Nick Rewalt's problem, though.
That is incredibly soft, that decision.
Delaney heads for the wing. The Saints look in reasonable shape out there. It was tough for Hansen. Bastanak took on a big load. Too great. A pretty quiet day. Certainly the first half, Bastanak. Now Hayes. Driving ball to the hard-leading Goddard, who it's not really coming together for him, but he is giving them a target up there.
Jason, was that a free kick for being naughty?
Yeah. I think it was against the spirit of the game is what they paid the free kick for.
So Goddard, it's a monster kick for them as far as coming up with a goal. And it doesn't produce that result. Another behind. So on the ebb and flow of this game, it's North by 9.
And you saw Brendan Goddard giving somebody a mouthful. I can tell you off screen it was the runner, and the runner's giving as good back.
Yep, he just brings it out. He doesn't return it to the coach. And Wells, look at that with blistering pace and dexterity on the boundary line. Kicks it up to the forward 50. Thomas had it, then dropped it. Did everything right. Graham threw that one out. McAvoy to Montagna. Shovels the ball out to Gilbert. Coming off the bench, there was Wells. Jumped out of the ground. The kick goes forward. Here's a chance for Geary. He's been good. Decides to go long to the pocket. Bad option on that occasion. Farida had the size and the strength and did it beautifully. Now he can transfer play. Does it well up the corridor. The Kangaroos playing with plenty of purpose. Out to Goldstein. Next kick important. Could have gone short. Decided to kick it to a 1-on-2. It was a shocker.
He had a short one on. I just hate when players try to do more than they're capable of doing, and that was a classic case.
Snyder's got a nice mouse there over his right eye. Kicks to Montagna, who marks on centre wing.
And moves it quickly. Some urgency about this for the Saints. Armitage finds Gilbert as they cut across through half forward.
He's got to push hard to get back now, Goldstein. He's very slow getting back. He should be there for the long kick.
But the kick goes to the other pocket. Milnes skirting around there. Farida. And he's done that with just enough cleverness, despite the pleas of the Saints fans. And this looks like the sub, Jared. You've been calling for it for a while.
And the question is, which player are they taking off? I reckon they'll take a tall off, and it is Stanley. Which means that Cozzy really has to find a way to get into this game.
He does. Gilbert, and they can wind up again. Standing start to the top of the square. McAvoy muscled his way through, looking for a mate, found it. Stephen! Another miss. Gee, they've peppered them at the moment.
Rocket, he'd be the bloke I'd put on to Daniel Wells, Jack Stephen. Not getting much of the ball. That was his first touch for the quarter, and Wells just looks like he could win this game for the Kangaroos off his own boot.
Oh, that's for sure. I think you've got to take, you take a player, as you said, Jack Stephen's not doing much at the moment, to get him to run with Wells. The other one, maybe whether Geary from half back, who's a good runner, whether he can actually inject some life and go to midfield, and maybe play on Wells as well.
Kangaroos by 8 points. St Kilda haven't scored a goal this quarter as Goddard kicks forward. They won't get one here either as Swallow takes the mark. They've had 4 behinds, 3 rushed and 1 just there, all within 15 metres, so they're getting it down there, Jace.
Yeah, but last couple of kick-outs, though, from North Melbourne, they've gone long to Robbie Tarrant, 1-on-1 against Sam Fisher, and both times it's come back into the attack 50 pretty quickly.
Swallow backed himself into kick at 55 metres to Adams, and Adams did pretty well. So too did St Kilda. That was almost dropping the ball against Dempster. Now the Kangaroos have got it. Zeeble on centre wing, kicks forward. Up towards the danger man here, and Thomas around. Good play by Graham, smothered it over the line. Off his knee. No, umpire said off his shin. Free kick Thomas. Now starting to go the Kangaroos' way. They have to capitalise on the momentum. Just a little chip to Adams. You see Swallow inside, decides to go to Farida. Farida now will wind up, has Tarrant in the square. He's the flyer from behind, has the sit, gets it over the top. Almost a mark to Hansen. Petrie can't get it out. Now it comes out to Anthony The banana went the wrong way. Up goes Hanson. Umpire says no 15, play on. Crashing through Thomas again. They go hard at the ball. St Kilda through Geary, get it out to Stephen. A sigh of relief, but there's no one to kick it to. So Hayes gives the handball off. And now Graham goes long and strong to centre wing. But Ferrito gets back again and takes a strong mark. Great play here.
And the Saints have got a major issue in defence. It's either Blake or Armitage. I'm not quite sure.
It's Blake.
Blake's coming off, which is going to actually expose their defence even more.
So they're one down at the moment, and Tarrant takes the mark. He was the one down. He's got free. And Robbie Tarrant, whose kicking hasn't been flashed today so far, has the chance from directly in front. 35 metres out to take his kick. Remembering St Kilda have just used their sub some 2 minutes ago to take a tall player off in Stanley. He would have been the ideal replacement. So things going North's way, but they must take their own luck. Tarrant delivers, kicks the goal, his first of the game.
He's had a very quiet day, Robbie Tarrant, but all he's got to do is jump on the scoreboard with a couple of goals in the last term, and all of a sudden he's had a contribution. It might be just enough to make it a winning contribution. You can see Jason Blake got a few issues. There's a little bit of mucking around, and then Daniel Wells just went long.
Wow. 5 goals in a row to North Melbourne from time on in the second quarter, from the 25.5-minute mark. Turned around what at that stage was a 15-point deficit. It's now a 14-point positive. 77 plays 63 as Anthony Hudson takes up the call.
And Wells sends them forward again. The Saints defence on high alert. Oh, there's some tug of the jumper there.
Yeah, Gilbert's been thrust back, and you could just see that he did have his jumper tagged by Tarrant. Umpire's right onto it.
So it's Sam Gilbert's on that last line.
And the domino effect is it's been Gilbert's been the one that's picked up Wells outside of the stoppages.
Out to Stephen. At half back. 5 minutes, 25 remaining. Dabs the pass for Hayes. It's all very well being slow and taking the pace off it, but you've still got to advance the cause, and the Saints not finding it easy at the moment. Forced to go long. Around the flank to the wing, and there's McAvoy up. Takes a strong mark. Bold stuff from Stephen. Makes the play. Revolt bolting back towards the square. And Milne, in the situation he loves, just paddles to his own advantage and pops it through. And boy, did they need that.
Brilliant play, Jack Stephen.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there was a horrendous mistake from Jamie McMillan. He was pushing against Stephen Milne, trying to take him upfield, and he missed the body contact and allowed Milne to get goal side. You'll see it here. He pushes, and then all of a sudden, Milne's 5 metres clear. Game over. It's always going to be a goal. He had him goal side, and then he just missed him with his body. Got to keep Stephen Milne away from goal.
Big change in the structure of their forward line now. They've gone away from all the tools, and you've got Goddard in the middle of the ground. You've got Cozzy in the middle of the ground. Armitage along with Del Sando. And Del Sando now is still going head-to-head with Wells.
Great play again, Hayes. Kicked it long. McAvoy, the strong pack mark. Quick fast break.
Free kick to Harvey at the back of the square here, or the front of the square, I should say.
Being held at centre-half forward.
Yep, by Sean Dempster.
That'll be 6 of the last 7 centre clearances now to the Kangaroos. They're playing the game in their forward half. The goal to Milne come at an opportune time, but the Kangaroos need to get this on the scoreboard.
What do you let a barrel go?
Boomer might just wind up here. We'll have to go 55. He goes the short kick. Look at that. That's great play.
Did his best to spill it, Lindsay Thomas, but you saw Boomer Harvey, as soon as he got the ball, he said, everyone, hang on, I'm going to go back. He was just giving it time for an option to unfold, and that was the lead from Lindsay Thomas right up the middle. Yeah,
we might be able to get a down-the-ground shot. You saw Armitage, who was taking the opportunity to recover. And that's what fatigue can do.
1 goal, 1 to Lindsay Thomas. He's kicked 133 goals, 132. So he's a nose in front at the moment. But this is a huge kick. He's had the yips for the last 18 months. This time, he puts it straight through the middle. That's what the Kangaroos needed, and look at that for a response. His teammates knew that he needed to withstand the fire on that occasion. He held his nerve, and he delivered with a beautiful kick.
Well, let's have a look at the Brent Harvey decision here. Sean Dempster. Look at the bottom of the screen. You'll just see underneath. might have had a little tug of the jumper, and I think it's just a little stretch of the jumper that the umpire saw Dempster proclaiming his innocence, and he pretended he was going to go with the long bomb, and Armitage perhaps just not deep enough back in the pocket there to cut off the lead.
And look how happy Lindsay Thomas is.
He might have recovered from the yips last week.
It's a man that maybe wasn't expecting to kick it and was pretty happy in the end when he did.
He was the one who kicked that really important goal when Adelaide were charging to wrest back their advantage.
Yeah, kicked 3 goals too last week.
Zeeble charging out of the middle again on the stretch. Harper held up by Clark.
A couple of fumbles though, should have probably taken the mark, and then
Armitage, Goddard, sorry Jason,
didn't take it cleanly.
Tanya doing the twirl. Oh, he fell over as Stephen was laying it off to him. So Wells again, but there's a whistle that's already out.
Rocket, the games are right up for grabs here. St Kilda is slowly, in fact, probably quickly losing their grip on this match. Is there anything Waters can do, or is it player-driven now?
I think it's going to be player-driven, but I think with their extra speed, they've got all their speed now on the forward line. Maybe inject one of those in the midfield. I think they're going to take the game on. And get the ball more quickly to their forward line to give their forwards a chance.
Well, Milne did that. They've got them on the break again. Sard has a glance. Snyder there for Cunliffe. He wants to screw it back. Oh, he went solo. And you can see the result hasn't been his night. That's his second behind. And he had the rundown as well. So 3 opportunities, has not produced a goal for Sard. The instant kick into Anthony, and the Roos are bounding away once more.
And away they go, and I tell you what, Ferrito's inferred pressure from that tackle early on in the game, put the wind up Sard there, so I reckon he'd almost give him another smother on that one. Great play. We're going to throw in at forward 50 for the Kangaroos, who lead by 13 points. 26 minutes gone in this third quarter. Massive couple of minutes now for St Kilda. They desperately need a goal. Adams, he's been good, he's been hard at it. Malira gets the ball out. Great play there by Armitage, under pressure. Got the boot onto the ball, but they're all back here, the Kangaroos. And the mark has been taken there by McMillan, who's been a good player today.
The other factor that we haven't spoken about, Ed, is that Jason Blake has been off the ground for 6 minutes. They're down to 2 rotations on the bench. The more this game goes, or the deeper it goes, the more run the Kangaroos will put to them.
They need to take full extraction here, the Kangaroos. Another goal before 3-quarter time will be icing on the cake.
But one of the problems, Rocket, is that they're so busy trying to bolster their defence. Cozzy's down there at the present time, and they get the ball forward. They're outnumbered.
Good defensive play by St Kilda. They zoned off on Goldstein, opened him up, and then got the free kick. Well, too slow, Clark.
What a chase from Harvey.
Get the kick away, son. Zeeble now on the rebound. Up to Adams, who marks almost. Fumbles, then gets the handball out to Goldstein. Goldstein's little chip kick forward is a good one. Out comes Tarrant. He's full of confidence, having kicked that last goal, but he's lost the handle on it. It comes back to Quill, who clears. Gets a bad bounce, does Zeeble. It's a good bounce for Hayes, though. Hayes looks up. He's got no one really on. He just holds the ball and says, "Skipper, come at me." And he does. And Rewalt marks 45 metres out. Good defensive play there because they've snuck a couple of metres. And Rue will have to kick this 53 metres on the fly. Instead, he just goes short there with the players. No one there, and Geary's got it. Rodney Eade.
I think what they've done now, Jared, is probably right. They've got their quick forwards. They're pushing them up the ground. They're playing a shorter ground, that's either 3-quarter ground, and trying to force the turnover, which North can do if they put under pressure, and then get them on the counter-attack, get the slingshot, and then get some speed running back into the hole.
I think one of their problems, though, is Cozzy as a spare man in defence just doesn't seem to be able to cover the ground to, I guess, best cover that position.
12 career goals to Jaron Geary. He comes in and makes it 12-13, does he? Yes, just misses.
Have a look at Brent Harvey run down Raf Clark. Look where he started from. A good 15 metres behind. Now, that is a man that chased with intent. He took off out of the blocks.
Raf Clark, you're allowed to run 15, son.
Kick goes back to the wing. Fisher, brilliantly contained by McMillan. North fans baying for blood. They'll get their way.
He's a bit stiff there. That ball was knocked back in, I think, by
it was almost like 2 half free kicks, wasn't it? Made the hole. McMillan moves it quickly to Atley. Such is their way. From the wing, deep, Tarrant against 3. And the numbers prevailing this time.
They just don't look often enough, North Melbourne. They keep kicking to outnumbered forwards. You've got to look where the spare in defence for St Kilda is and pick another option.
Another St Kilda defender, Wilt picking himself up, looking a bit ginger.
So from this throw, the margin at 12, Lenny Hayes calling on all his reserves and experience. Takes it for Malira. Oh, that was always trouble. Bastanak. And again, a blind kick despite the efforts of Petrie, who was solid, steadfast stuff from Geary, who decides to move it pretty swiftly. Off with a bounce. Still some thinking to do. He forecasts what's ahead. He says, well, I've got to go for Fisher, and he's earned himself a free.
At least what they did do there, North, was hold them up.
So three-quarter time, and North Melbourne in that quarter really took control in this game, Jason. They restricted the Saints. I think they're just one goal.
4 goals to 1 in favour of North in that term. Terrific effort.
And they look good things. Will they go on with it?
I don't know about good things, Hutto. I don't think there is such a thing in this match, but they've given themselves every opportunity now.
Yeah, St Kilda kicked 1 goal 6 for that term to the Kangaroos 4 goals 2. So 1 extra scoring shot to St Kilda, but as a result of that, a 2-point lead is now a 12-point deficit. Live and exclusive, uninterrupted, when we return on Fox Footy.
It was at three-quarter time.
Kangaroos have kicked 6 of the last 7 goals in this game. As Anthony Hudson said, North Melbourne by 12 points with a quarter of football to go. It's been absolutely fantastic. Hope you're enjoying it live and exclusive here on Fox Footy. And the Saints are going to have to lift their 2 men down at the moment. Blake out just in the last bit there, boys, fortuitously for North Melbourne. He's still hobbling. He's got the tracksuit on. The substitute had already been made. So what do you reckon, boys?
Well, I reckon they've got to find some run from somewhere, Red. You just have to be so admirable of how the Kangaroos have done it. We'll take a look at Jason Blake's injury, but right now, Jason, they are looking for some run from somewhere. It looks like he might have just caught an ankle.
Yeah. I reckon he might have done an Achilles.
Could have done an Achilles as well. I don't think he'd be just hobbling there if he had, though.
You're right.
But
like there was much in it.
Their small forwards have got to somehow get into this game. Now, Rocket said that they pushed a couple of their taller defenders in the back half. Not really working. There's a big night continuing on Wednesday night, Ed.
Yeah, indeed. 360 with the boys. Join me on EM2. We've got some great interviews coming up this Wednesday. And the Hanger, Essendon's insider show. Well, the Bombers are absolutely flying at the moment. It is one that can't be missed. It is 12 points of difference, and it's the Kangaroos in front in this 8-point game. Fantastic stuff. Out of the centre, Goddard, who needs the lift for the Saints, has been thrown into the middle and will have another ball up.
Well, the difficulty for St Kilda is you talk about they need to find some run. They're 1 down on rotations. That's going to make life even more difficult.
They've got Cozzy off the ground. They're going as small as possible.
McAvoy gets the tap. It's Wells, though, who's been the dominant force in this game, who puts it inside 50 again. Tarrant runs to the ball. Good play by Geary there, knocks it to the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
Well, you'd expect that they will, with Stanley subbed off, you'd expect Kazitsky and McAvoy just to rotate as the ruck and try and get as much out of their runners as they can.
Geary gets a free kick and the Saints are away. Gilbert brings the ball out to the broadcast side of the ground. Schneider onto his non-preferred right foot. Now he gets onto his left. Kicks it with the outside. It's a good kick up towards Milne. Punched away.
That looked to be a really good left foot. He must have had his right hand in the back of Milne.
Very late call, wasn't it?
Yep.
Attlee just touched him as the ball goes forward to the skipper. Revolt has it at half-forward flank.
Goddard's down there, and the sub Malira working in the square. As Revolt takes all things into account. Settles on McAvoy as his prime target. It wasn't a bad decision. Montaña's been giving them something around goal with a couple so far, but not that time. Martin trimmed to 11, though. Oh, sorry, back to 12. I was right the first time. It's back to 11.
They just need to maintain their composure, North. They'll start to tighten up if they miss targets, put teammates under pressure and go away from what's got them in front.
So Wells goes for territory. Harper, Hansen, try marking that, and 4 or 5 do. It was all the Kangaroos on the ground level. Gibson missed his moving target in Thomas. Harvey in there making a nuisance of himself again. Dempster had it stuck behind him, but just got some high contact from Hansen.
They should have been away again there, North, but Lindsay Thomas just lost the footy.
Now Geary can wind into this one. Could have gone to Armitage. It's a longer target. Milne was leading up, but Armitage just reeled it in. Now changes his angle, and delicate little ball for Hayes. And it's quite smart play in the end. Let's see whether Lenny can make the journey.
19 possessions and a goal for Lenny today.
84 goals over his career. 84 goals, 87 coming in to the afternoon. That's the one already. Here's Hayes from 50. Distance not an issue, neither the accuracy. That's his second. What a star he is. It's back to 5. And there's the early response from St Kilda. North Melbourne are not going to have this all their own way.
He is the soul of this footy club. You know he will work right to the end of the match. He'll do everything he can to drag his team over the line. He just worked hard into space. He saw the play unfolding, and there was a nice hole in the corridor. That's a fantastic one-handed grab from Armitage, and then he didn't blaze away. He saw Grimer was all over Revolt, so he didn't pull the trigger. He just held it up and waited for a better option to appear. It did. It was Lenny Hayes. Great kick from just outside 50.
So the champion brings the margin back to within a goal. 5 points the difference. Free kick, and it's going all St Kilda's way at the moment. Guess who at the bottom of the pack gets up with the ball? Lenny Hayes again, and off he goes. Lenny, long kick up towards Revolt at the back, flies high, punched away. At the fall of the ball, picked up by Bastanak for North Melbourne. Good play, gets it across to Zeeble. Zeeble's long kick up towards the half-forward flank. Out comes Hansen, beautiful mark. Took 2 grabs, did well. Hansen now kicks long up to the goal square. Sets Tarrant a task. He's dragged down. Should have been a free. Play on, says the umpire. Might still work. Swallow gets it out. Open goal. Harper gets it. North Melbourne respond immediately.
Yeah, I thought the Lockie Hansen kick was the wrong option. He kicked to a 1-on-2 when he kicked the Tarrant. I thought Petrie would have been a better lead, but that's what Tarrant's been looking to do, is make a strong contest, and that time he brings it to ground, and that allows the other runners for North to get there. And they had a superior numerical advantage. It was just a matter of thinking their way through it. A great hand pass from Andrew Swallow.
I think the conundrum with Brad Scott and the coaching committee at the moment is, do they substitute Matty Campbell into the game, as they have done right now? They won't take a tall out, because with Blake out of that back line and Stanley already substituted, they think they've got a height advantage in their forward line. But it is Harper now has been taken out of the game and Campbell in.
That's taking that modern philosophy to a ridiculous extreme. You kick a goal and you get subbed.
Used to be just come off for a spell. Here's Campbell. He could get on the end of this.
Thump forward by Bastanak. It wasn't a particularly smart thing to do, as it turns out. Geary, he just pumps it up for the wing. Slapped away by Wells. Snyder shaped to get it. Wells showed him how, but gave it straight back. Geary takes the mark. Now there's some stepping stones here to find the loose man Goddard on the outer wing, but those bases are covered. Stephen makes his little manoeuvre to give him something.
Plenty of tired players out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that little kick from Wells, what we're talking about. Keep your composure, keep hitting the right options.
Revolt ready to move with Sard. Milne also getting busy. Have to build up a little slower. Now Hayes, the skipper comes at him. He went for Milne. He got through both. Little glance over the shoulder from Armitage to see what was ahead, and then he got completely clobbered.
We're saying he ducked. Did he duck?
And gone.
Now he's gone.
Well, I'd like to have a look at a replay of that one, because he felt that one, David Armitage. Does he duck? Well, he does.
Yeah, he did.
Still got it high, though.
He did. If he just kept running with his head down rather than rolling it over the way he did, he probably would have got the free kick.
Atley sends it into the back pocket for Rito. He's got Gibson, who's been able to get a drift here at halfback. He's called on by the umpire. And he held it straight up, but they'll have a chance to get out of chaos here. Back into the middle of the ground.
That was lucky.
Adams, they can crank up here. Campbell's in the game. He's fresher than anyone. Gives to Bastanak. Open goal square. The path was clear.
And so was the handball over the top to Thomas.
They had numbers everywhere.
They're playing a frenetic brand of footy, Jason, but they are paying for it because the decision-making isn't keeping up with their pace.
That's the key. Too often, they haven't chosen the right option, and they've made it a lot more difficult than it should have been.
They still lead by 12 points. St Kilda have to come from behind. Off the back, Sard needs to go hard here. Goldstein did it beautifully. Anthony with a handball into Adams, who's been fantastic. Now the handball comes into McMillan from 55. Open goal square. There's the goal. 3 goals in front. Kangaroos grab the early ascendancy.
Going to be able to drag back from here now.
Even then, Jared, I'm glad he kicked the goal because he had chip options on that would have been easy set shots.
Yep, spot on. I think it was Matty Campbell who was looking. Yep.
I think the thing with any marking contest, there seems to be 3 St Kilda players flying all the time. That one on the wing, McAvoy didn't need to go for it.
No.
They had 2 up, there was no one down. And that was the one before with Tarrant as well, Jason, you're talking about. Tarrant competed. They seem to be so conscious because of their lack of height that everyone's flying and not winning the ball, and it's hitting the ground, and North have got plenty of runners.
Jamie McMillan.
Striding forward and giving North Melbourne an 18-point lead. They want to build on it further. Goldstein doing the rucking, the roving, sending it Petrie's way. Bit of a standoff there with Fisher, and now Dempster arrives on the scene. The experienced Saints need to find a way to get their hands on the footy. Mill knows that. So does Hayes and Goddard and Montagna. So they all get a bit of a touch. It's deep to centre half forward. Milne could lead. Armitage tries to hit him. It's all okay. Umpire waves it on. Sard owes the McCappell. Can't get that one back. Atley.
Not played.
Pops the handball forward. McMillan to McMahon.
It was a tight kick.
It was, yeah. And they should have the numbers here, St Kilda. Again, they go stumbling in. A little handball out wide. Clark and Harvey. Relief comes in the form of a boundary throw-in.
Let's have a look at this free kick. Was Sard held?
Got to be a chance.
I think I tend to agree with Scott Waters on that occasion.
Hayes marches forward again. They've been able to maintain control. Montagna over the top. Stephen just had a metre. That was all he needed to steady. And they're not going to go away. That's his second. It's back to 12.
Gutsy goal, that one from the Saints. Jack Stephen, he's been one of the improvers again this year. And they've just worked really hard. It was Lenny Hayes who got the clearance. Nice, smart little handball. This one was just enough to give him the space to execute the goal. But they have got to now compete with the work rate of the Kangaroos, which has been absolutely first class. They've worked a lot harder for the Kangaroos for the majority of the game, but the Saints have been able to hold on.
It actually looked like Goldstein won that tap, but didn't have the players there at the hit zone.
David King on the boundary line.
Against the Kangaroos, because they play this high-speed brand of football, you can score quickly against them. We saw Port Adelaide kick 5 goals in about 10 minutes a month ago, and we saw Adelaide last week in a short spurt get themselves back into the game. So danger time for the Kangaroos.
Saints fans want in the back. Umpire says give it a me. We'll have a bounce right in the middle of Etihad Stadium. Right, 13 minutes and 17 seconds. Structures must stand up, but the physical pressure here, the mental strength required, is going to be enormous. 12 points the Kangaroos lead. Interception was great there by Bastanek to Wells, who releases Harvey, who runs to 55, wants to give a handball, has a bounce, Harvey lines up and goes for home. The superstar's done it again. He's done it again. Rob Harvey punches the air. Look at the bicep, he says, because that is the arm of a champion. When his team needed it, he stood up, he balked, he twisted, and he delivered.
Lenny Hayes looking a little worse for wear after all of that, but gee, there's a terrific hand pass here that releases Harvey. You can see another one from Malera. Didn't work, but the Wells hand pass here. Long, doesn't have to break stride, just takes Gilbert on, stands him up with a little show inside, and that is a wonderful finish on the run.
Yeah, we've seen that. It's been a trademark of his over the years. The dummy, then the sidestep, and then the goal.
Back to 18. And the Roos keeping St Kilda at arm's length. Anthony deals it off. Wells blistering stuff out of the middle. He got under it. It's pretty straight. It's line ball.
Kingy, the centre clearances, you highlighted them in the third term. They're not just getting the numbers, but they're getting damaging clearances.
Oh, that's exactly right. I think Goldstein's been fantastic today. Centre bounce damage. The Kangas have only kicked 2-2, and the Saints have kicked 1-2 for the day, but a lot of inside 50s coming from their work.
I reckon that was a really bad miss by Wells then. He should have done better. He had options.
Hayes back into the middle. Saints get it safely. Snyder gave to Goddard. Revolt pushing hard. He's got the yard on Grimer. Engaged. Well done, Grimer. Not to be denied. Went and went again. Not on my watch, he says. And takes it into the back pocket to McMillan. trying to kickstart something for the Roos again. And they surge through. Attlee thumps it out there. The Kangaroos fans on their feet. They're crashing packs. They're winning all the important contests at the moment. Thomas to Wells. They've taken it from one end to the other. Daniel Wells doesn't go this time. Pops it to Hansen. The young man over the top. That is teamwork for you all the way. And who better than Drew Petrie to kick his fourth? And the Roos lead by 25. What a goal.
That was the kick that from Wells that he had the option of the last time he streamed forward. He went to shoot for goal, and that's fine as long as you kick the goal, but he didn't kick it on that occasion. He saw he had numbers everywhere. This was the one-on-one contest, a brilliant effort from Nathan Grimer. And then just to push him off the ball, shoot the hand pass out. And then have a look at Wells here. Again, he ran to the same spot. He was thinking about it, but he knew where he had the numbers. This isn't a particularly great chip kick from Hansen either. It takes Petrie out of the goal square, but he's got time to play on and make a certainty of it.
Let's just have a look at the comparisons. You've got Lockie Hansen and Drew Petrie, 7 goals between them. At the other end of the ground, Kazitsky and Rewald, just the one. Now, the Kangaroos midfield have been on top, but not that far on top.
Appropriately, the 17th goal for the Kangaroos was set up by number 17, Grimer at fullback, when he took on and beat the St.Kilda champion Nick Rewald. Great stuff from fullback to full forward. In goes Hansen, who's been fantastic today again. Goldstein's been hard at it. Hansen goes again. 2 don't argues, and then he juggles for good measure. Slams it on his boot. Inside 50 it goes. Lurking with intent from behind was Anthony. It didn't spill that way. Stevens got it now. They have to really lift the Saints. Close to the boundary line. He breaks through the tackle. Does it well. Sticks his head down and kicks to a one-on-one. But McMahon's been great today. He kicks it into the centre of the ground. The mark's been taken by Gibson. Gibson handballs over to Wells. What a sensational vision he's had all day. The last goal was set up with similar type of vision as he found Zeeble, and now Thomas has got it outside 50. Slows it down.
So he's got confidence up now. He knows he can kick him.
He had some options too.
Didn't he?
Brad Zeeble here.
Yeah.
He's just dusted himself.
Oh, that's friendly fire from Todd Goldstein. Cops the left knee to the head.
Yeah, his ear will be ringing for a week. Lindsay Thomas. Suddenly those goals look a lot wider apart than they did a couple of weeks ago. From 52 metres out. Look at that. Look at that. Lindsay Thomas says, that's how wide they are. He's put it through, and the Kangaroos have got this game by the throat.
And once again, I think questions will be asked about the St Kilda balance of attack and defend. They haven't been able to do either well today, but in their last few losses, they have conceded a magical 17-goal mark. And again now, the Kangaroos have topped that, coming up with their 18th goal. They've been incredibly accurate today, the Kangaroos, 18-7 to 12-12. But they have deserved this lead at this stage. Their work rate has been quite superb. And some blokes are having, I think, a really purple patch in their careers. And Lockie Hansen would be one of them. The last couple of weeks, all of a sudden, there's a little bit of a bright spark for his future.
Well, you've got to wonder if you're a North fan, where's this been all year? It's been here for the last 2 weeks, and they're going to be right back in the race now for the 8. They'll be in there tonight. So let's hope it, from their point of view, it can continue. But that's if they go on and win. St Kilda still have hopes. No mark paid to Rewald. Hayes. There's a North player down, well and truly back in the centre. We'll get to that shortly. It's right, as you can see in the split screen. And the ball over and out.
It's 9 goals to 3 since half-time. Goddard's cleaned him up, we believe, so let's have a look at this one. And Wright is forced off the ground. He's running off the ground as we speak. We'll get a shot in a moment. The Swallow picks it up. Back towards Attlee, under pressure, taking the ground, is in a bit of trouble here. Umpire will give it.
The last thing they want to do, North, is start mucking around like that.
What it looked like straight away,
It's
didn't it?
just slow motion. Swallow dawdling along, thinking, what will I do, what will I do? Then put a teammate under pressure, and now it's cost them a shot for goal. Kick it long down the line.
So it's Terry Malera. Start of the day as the sub. Winds into it. That was a good strike all the way. And so, we're not done with yet, the Saints.
That's a good finish, wasn't it?
Still 9 minutes to go.
Plenty of time.
Yep. Do they have the firepower and the run, though, in their
You
legs?
see here, he took his time and he thought, yeah, let's hang on to it, and then ran himself into trouble. An ordinary hand pass gives Attlee no chance. They don't want to flirt with it, North.
So Malira has now kicked 13 goals for the season. Been a handy recruit for him. Mature age, 24 years. Back in the middle, Kazitsky, Goldstein, Armitage, Zeeble wins the day. McMillan takes them all the way inside the 50. Gilbert had the best read on it. Couldn't complete the job, though. Had to call on Dempster. He was a little disorientated by the time 2 or 3 North players were finished with him, and we'll have a bounce.
Not sure it's worked, the structural changes, the late change of No Jones and Sard coming in. Sard hasn't been a factor in this match, and I reckon they've lost that flexibility that Clint Jones gives them to just put out a bushfire. I don't think they would have thought there was going to be that many bushfires as has been evident this afternoon.
Mind you, given he normally plays on Brent Harvey, if he said Harvey will have 13 and just 1 goal to his name at this stage of the match, he'd say that's been a win.
Yeah, that's a win, but I think Wells is the one I got in mind.
Saints have kicked 4 goals in the best part of 45 minutes since half-time. They need to kick 4 and a bit in the last 8 minutes to snatch this game. Stephen goes to ground, but he's tried hard all day. Gilbert gets it across. Now, driving kick. Up to the forward line, good play. Schneider's taken a nice mark. Well, it starts with this kick.
And if this goes through, they'll get very nervous, North.
So Adam Schneider.
Must be hard to line up the goals when one of your eyes is half closed over.
232 career goals. The mouse over his right eye. Shuts one eye and puts it straight through the middle. They've picked the last 2. There's still a sniff for the Saints here.
Right, psychologically, I reckon there's a time in the last quarter you can get too far in front, and all of a sudden you just subconsciously the cue goes in the rack.
Yeah, I think a few things happen that you try and save the game. You stop playing the way that got you that far in front in the first place, and I think it was North's ability to put some pressure on, but also run and carry the footy and move it quickly. I think Swallow sort of set the scene that previous goal where, as Jason said, he's just trying to soak some time, be a bit cute, and now it gives the Saints a bit of a sniff, and there's still plenty of time left.
And the problem they've got is that Wells, Anthony and Swallow are all off the ground at this stage. They need to get their A-graders back in the middle.
So life and hope yet for St Kilda. It's back to 19. Adams hacking it into the forward 50. Thomas, good support from Zeeble, who charged on in. Thomas goes again, but the Saints are resilient. Geary disposed of. Zeeble a 3rd effort. Zeeble a 4th effort. Got it through to Bastanak. Simply must for North, but doesn't.
Great effort by Zeeble. I mean, he had 3 goes in the middle, ran 40 metres, had another 2 goes. That's what's been built. That's what this win has been built on.
Zeeble's performance was absolutely first class.
Now there's no defensive pressure. Tired legs, no one chasing Geary.
But no one running at him either, Jace, as Geary has to go all the way and kick it long and hope that Rewalt can take the mark. Ferrito, as always, the 3rd man up, left his man, did the team thing. That's what's winning it for North Melbourne today. Campbell over the top. He's got some fresh legs. He gives the give and go and runs and carries and kicks straight down to his teammate there in Petrie. He did it well to Wells. Just a bit of icing on the cake. It was Lachlan Hansen, in fact. Now Hansen's got it 55 out. Good kick to the goal square. The Saints get back in numbers and mark it. But Stevens got it on the last line of defence.
The kick wasn't to anyone's advantage.
No, it was a nothing kick.
That goal is a long way away for the Saints. Up to Del Santo, who's been quiet today. Gets the handball going on to Goddard, who gives a big torpedo out towards Milne, who does well. Held without the ball. Umpire says, go back, take your kick. He does. Now he's able to play on. Didn't get back behind the mark. He kicks forward. A chance now for St Kilda. Armitage off the ground. Good play. They've got 3 in a row. All clear goal. 3 in a row to St Kilda.
Now, I'd love to go back to that Stephen Milne
He didn't
kick,
go back beyond
because he
the mark.
never went back behind the mark at any stage.
Scott McMahon has pointed that out to the umpire.
He just, where he picked the ball up from, you know, have a look, there's the infringement there. Now, He's just picked it up and played on from there. He's 5 metres away from where the mark is. That is poor umpiring.
There's been a few today, but let's concentrate on what's ahead. 14 points the difference. You can see the effort that's been required to get back within this range from St Kilda. Can they dig and go again?
They need another goal to win, North.
No doubt. Goldstein got the tap down. 6.5 remaining. And they leave it for Lenny. And Lenny finds a way out. He can get out of any maze. Well, play on the call. Wisp away by Harvey. And now they can, well, I thought they'd be able to control it, but they've got the fumbles at the wrong time. Surely they was holding the man. It was.
That's 50. That's 50. Why is it not 50?
Six was a critical couple of fumbles there. All the Kangaroos ran forward of the ball, and it looked as if they were going to get out the Saints.
I reckon they got the rub of the green early, North, but now it's all St Kilda.
So Anthony takes them to half forward. And again, in no hurry, North. They lead by 14. Now look at the clock. It's just 23 minutes. There's still 5.5 to go. It's deep. He's got the run. Looked like he had it all the way. Thomas, they camp around. The Snucket sneaks through. And Bastanak gets the job of putting it through for his first. And again, they get out to a manageable lead of 20 points.
Kingy, you spoke very passionately about the shinboner spirit last week. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I tell you what, in the last 2 weeks, this Kangaroo side have been a different outfit.
They have, Jared. I think you see it at times like today when Brent Harvey runs 50 metres to run down Rath Clark. Mick Ferrito runs 40 metres flat out to save a goal and make a big tackle. That's when the shinboner spirit to me kicks in. Not the finishing skills and the purity of the game. When the game's at its toughest and when you have to dig deep, I think the Kangaroos have found that in the last 2 weeks, and it's been lost for 6 weeks, but found the last 2.
Kingy, the whole club's found it, because everyone from the president to the coach to the players were questioned publicly, almost humiliated at times, and that stung down at Arden Street.
Yeah, it did. And I'll tell you what, we need to see it for another 6 weeks or 8 weeks too, not just flashing it out when they earn the respect from the media and the greater football world. They need to be consistent now, that's the key.
Well, let's celebrate the fact they've got it right for the last 2 weeks, and Harvey's going to get a free kick here.
No, we'll go to Dempster.
Is it going to go Dempster for tunnelling?
Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake.
Shepherded him out of taking the mark there.
Dempster now decides to take on his man, run round, kicks inside 50, up towards Revolt again. He's going to have to beat 4, which he's done all day. Del Santo around the body, not quite there. Ferrito sees the ball over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Time is on North Melbourne's side as well. They need to control the ball here. Saints need to kick 4 goals.
They'd be absolutely wrapped, Brad Scott, with his defence. Luke Delaney came in. He's done a magnificent job. Ferrito, you've mentioned a number of times, Ed. He also has been quite superb. And Grimer as well. I mean, they just have beaten their man on man for the majority of the day.
Hayes got it out. Armitage snap offline. And the Kangaroos have got it through Grimer, who's had a wonderful day today.
Yeah.
And his supporters give him a round of applause, well deserved.
Just 10 possessions in the goal to Nick Revolt, who's copped a couple of knocks, but Grimer's done an outstanding job.
So Campbell, who's been injected with a bit of energy, kicks it up to the wing. Fisher, Goddard, still trying to craft something forward. Graham will give it plenty, but it's very wide. Not so handsome. Milne waits for it to fall to ground, but again, Grimer gets the fist in. And it's out. And then now, probably at that stage, Jason, where they can work the clock a little bit.
Well, now when you get the opportunity, you hold it up. This is where you don't want to have chains of hand passes. You want to chip the ball more and soak up the time off the clock.
Wells devastating, 31 disposals.
Been good for Edo too.
And look, right on here. And it all should fall for him. Game, set, and match.
He shinned it through. And told Goddard all about it.
That's the shinboner spirit.
That was a shank kick.
Oh, he's pretty keen. I think he was actually thinking about getting back to Brendan Goddard, who gave him a touch-up round the Adams apple about 10 minutes ago, rather than focusing on kicking the goal. But he did both.
He got the daily double.
He's enjoying it, isn't he? Smiles all around. Michael Ferrito's been terrific in defence. He has set up a number of forward thrusts. It was a good kick over the top from Adams. Have a look at this off the boot. Oh, that's half a shank. And look at the bend and bounce on it to bring it back.
And the goal umpire enjoyed it too.
Yep.
Well, umpire got the full chest expansion going there. It was fantastic. What a game. 35 goals kicked in this game this afternoon. Swallow has been fantastic all day as well. Gets it out. Adams, Wells, there's three of your best players, Jared. Wells just puts the afterburners on. Kick's just got a shove in the back as he took his kick. And Goddard takes the mark at fullback.
There's one rule when you play the Kangaroos. You've got to tag Harvey and you've got to tag Daniel Wells. Adelaide paid the price last week.
Well, I'm staggered that they didn't pay closer attention today, Jared.
Saints are going to pay it again today. Well, they took a risk coming into the game without Clint Jones. He may not be in the best of form, but I tell you what, he would have been a lot closer on Daniel Wells or Boomer Harvey than those that have been there. Taking up away from
Swallow, here he is again. 35 metres on his own. And Wells, instead of just turning around and running into the goal, says, let's just milk the clock the full 30 seconds.
They are a fantastic side to watch right now, the Kangaroos. They've gone from one of the most unwatchable 3 weeks ago against the Gold Coast to this last 2 weeks playing scintillating footy that you'd make sure you wouldn't miss.
To make the margin 31 points and to completely ice this game, Daniel Wells has been phenomenal today from 55 out. The kick is on its way. The kick is straight. The kick is a goal. And the Kangaroos have got the 4 points.
And they've also got a spot in the 8, and given their draw, it looks pretty reasonable. They've got every opportunity now, Hutto, to achieve for Brad Scott what he's been setting out to do all these years, and that is get into that finals and make the next big step forward.
Yes, no doubt. I mentioned their form has been indifferent for much of the year, but their good has been very good, hasn't it? Just thinking about St.Kilda, and you touched on it earlier, Jared, about the amount of goals that's been kicked against them now. And you look at their victories for the year, Sydney is their only real terrific win over a top 8 team. The other 2 against the Gold Coast, Bulldogs, Melbourne. The Carlton win was good because the Blues were much stronger at that time, but some worrying signs for the Saints.
And right, they're giving Goddard plenty of yak down there. He's enjoying it, and the mark's been taken again by McMahon, who's had a good day.
And for me, this is their best victory. I think Geelong, it was overrated, that victory. Geelong were on their knees at that stage. I think even Adelaide last week came in ready to be beaten and also had a lot of players down through illness, but the Saints were ready. They were absolutely cherry ripe. They trained well. I think they gave themselves an enormous chance coming into this. There's no excuses for the Saints.
And let's not forget, Jared, led by 19 points at quarter time. They were running away with it. In fact, got to a 26-point lead at the 1 minute and 40-second mark of the second term and looked like they were about to put North Melbourne to the sword. But what a response. They've turned up in numbers, the Kangaroos crowd, many wondering if they had one left. And here's their next 4. They've got a big assignment next week. Then Carlton, Richmond, Melbourne. Carlton and Richmond, 2 of the teams are really breathing down their necks as well. So their destiny in their hands. And this bloke, talking about destiny in his hands, he's kicked 3 goals, 1 today.
He's a sharpshooter now, Ed. He's found the magic.
A couple of weeks ago, it was like threading the eye of a needle for Lindsay Thomas. Now he looks up and thinks, how easy is this? Just got his confidence and his momentum through the ball.
Well, it's important he kicks this, really, isn't it? Just for next week, I reckon.
Just to send everybody home with a big smile on their face. He'll kick from just inside the 50. 43 metres out, the man on the mark, as you can see. And the kick is on its way, and it just fades on its trajectory. But I tell you what, he hit it reasonably well. They'll smile at that one. 3 goals, 2. With 30 seconds on the clock, and most importantly, a 32-point lead to the North Melbourne Football Club.
Goddard goes as long and almost as high as he can, and that suits Goldstein just fine. Didn't take the mark, but the Roos are able to maintain some control over the footy. They don't mind going back a little. Now they'll go forward. McMillan to Wells. Possession number 34. Gibson might get one more shot. Bastanak knows there's not much time to go. He helps himself to another behind.
1 goal, 3 to Bastanak this last quarter.
And that was just a classic case of the adrenaline running through the system. He should have just gone back and taken his full 30 seconds and a genuine set shot at goal.
Listen to the crowd. The Kangaroos are going to enjoy this as we tick down the last couple of seconds. They've won by 33 points. It's been heavy going for the North Melbourne Football Club. The president, the coach, the players, even the fans have been asked whether they want to be in the competition, whether they deserve to be in the competition. Can you believe it, Jared? Well, they have put their hand up and said they might be in the top 8 come September this year. The resounding 33-point victory over St Kilda.
Yeah, and their run's going to trouble most sides. That was a really fascinating display by the Kangaroos. It's 2 weeks out of 2 now that they've done it. Take away the Gold Coast win, they just fell in there. There was a lot of blokes had to have a good look at themselves after that victory, and they did. And they have produced magnificent football. And they did so with Boomer Harvey 2 weeks in a row now not being in their best 3 players. It's the future of the Kangaroos on display at the present time. And David King is with the skipper.
Yes, we are with the skipper, and a happy skipper too. That was a complete performance by the Kangaroos, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were probably a little bit shaky at the start. I reckon they got on top around the clearances and dominated early, but after that we really worked hard. We got back on our terms. You know, we just need to make sure we win it inside and give ourselves an option going forward.
What's it been like down there this year? Because the form on field's been up and down. There's been a lot of pressure behind the scenes with the hierarchy of the club. What's it been like?
Oh, we definitely had. It was difficult at a point. I think probably the morale was the biggest thing. It was pretty low, especially after the Port loss. So we really worked after that and worked to try and turn it around. And the results are starting to turn now, and it's good to see the guys enjoying the wins and getting around and supporting each other.
Into the 8 now on the march. The Kangaroos playing good football, and the youngsters really coming on.
Yeah, I suppose we're probably lacking that consistency. Guys now like Sean Atley, Ryan Bassanak, Jamie Millen, they're starting to get a bit of consistency in their game. And, guys like Daniel Wells are probably taking their game to the next level. So we're getting a good mix. It's just we've got to keep going now. We've played good footy for, certain periods throughout the year, but it's now week after week now we've got to perform like that.
Good luck, mate. Go and enjoy.
No worries. Thank you.
David King down there with just one of the absolute champions of the game today in Andrew Swallow, the North Melbourne skipper. And Jared, a remarkable turnaround. No wonder they're happy, the North fans. From the 1:40 mark of the second quarter, North Melbourne defeated St Kilda by 59 points.
Yeah, and I think it was underpinned with a really solid defence, but a magnificent and hard-working midfield. They just did not let up, and they've got a few guys that have been in and out of the side. Liam Anthony, for instance, has his detractors with his ball use, but he was put back and a couple of weeks ago brought back into the side the last 2 weeks. And he really has produced for this footy club. Boomer Harvey came to the fore in the second half and finished up a really damaging player. Their skipper, he had one of his best games today under the pump. He delivered. Daniel Wells gave both inside and out. And, Lee Adams, your mate, Patch Adams, he fired again for them.
Don't tell me it doesn't mean anything to the veteran. Halves there. Boomer, what a sensational player he has been. In his 336th game, he was absolutely fantastic. He was able to kick that last goal in the last quarter there, which was magnificent. Just absolute Boomer Harvey stuff. His 393rd goal. He enjoyed that as much as any of them. It was a beauty. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll sing the song. We'll join in the chorus with the Kangaroos. They've won by 33 points.